Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Tinfoil Wednesday this week because Jake had a birthday yesterday. So yesterday, went to Jake's and hung out very late, and I'm very tired. So we're gonna make it a very chill stream today. We're low energy, but we're still here for it. So how's everyone doing? I'm very excited to do some more conspiracy stuff. Was I able to find present for him? Yes, hold on. I was able to get him a variety of different D&D minis and stuff, so that was fun. He seemed to like them. Annie Kai, thank you for 13 months. First name bunch of numbers with 50 bits says, thanks for recommending Line Goes Up. I finally got around to watching and it was very good. Definitely co-signing that recommendation. It's great, isn't it? Gitara, thanks for 5 months. And that catches us up. Your cousin got COVID and you might have it. Oof. Hope not. Procagon with 100 bits says, just found out I got a promotion at work with a pretty nice raise. Oh, nice. We are doing bingo today, so get your bingo cards. First winner of the bingo gets a gift sub, either for themselves or for someone else, whichever they'd prefer. If we do a hype train and get to level 5, we will do the tinfoil stuff, of course, so let's see if that happens. Old enough to know, oh, okay. Hype train's going. Let's see what's happening. Alf Packascent says, Choo Choo, happy actual B-Day to Jake. Old enough to know better now, thanks for 25 months. Procagam, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs. Very, very thankful for you for that. Kurt Mulgrew, thanks for 200 bits. Guys, do you know what we did yesterday? As part of the, Jake's birthday? We watched Morbius. We got morbed. I know that joke's, like, beaten into the ground, but I don't care. We morbed. Avant Gardener, thanks for 50 bits, says hype hype. Bumble Homestead, thanks for 100 bits. We are at 97% to level 1. Jellyfish, 85, thank you for 5 months. Overthought with 100 bits says, it's Morbin time. For the record, the movie was bad. I don't know if I'd necessarily recommend it unless you're hanging out with a bunch of friends and partaking of drugs. Did I enjoy the Matt Smith scene on the big screen? It was fine. It was funny. Chibbers the Squirrel, thanks for 14 months. Coin Doge says, I haven't watched the Bible Reloaded in a long time. It's interesting to see what older YouTubers are doing now as time goes on. Yeah. Puka, thanks for 300 bits. Yeah, I saw Procagam's subs didn't seem to register on the hype train for some reason. I can't manually fix it, otherwise I would. Oh no, they registered that time. It just needed to get over 100%. Now they did. Now we're at 8% to level 5. We're almost there. Old enough to know better now says, the train's sitting at 100% and not moving is giving me anxiety. I'm glad we were able to fix that. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub. Bittergrin, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Bardlock Moses, thanks for gifting a sub. I did not share the lyrics of the Matt Smith song with the other people there. DM Trey says, hey Hannah, how are you doing today? Been showing my partner Charisma Saves and got to the stuff with Emperor Lags, so it's close to the end. Ooh, fun. Did I watch and vet that analysis, examination, observation, and research video about Tony Chase? I watched part of it. I don't know if I'm going to watch it on stream. It still leaves a lot of the slurs in. Interesting video, though. Rageology with 100 bits says, hype, hype, hype. We are at 130% to level 5 now. Woo! We did it. Alright, I'll start tinfoiling. Keep hyping. Ugh. Procagom says, Hannah, reloaded, tin, foiled, morb, eus? Almost good. Finding my gloves. That's on the wrong hand. Ponder the morb. Don't ponder the morb. Okay, the other movie we watched 2 other movies. But the best movie we watched was Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I had already seen, but it's really great. And then we watched The Northman, but I was asleep for most of it. If I'm being honest, I fell asleep. So I know The Northman, the guy was trying to, like, avenge his father or something, and then I fell asleep. Minute left on the hype train, and then we'll get started. Get your bingo cards ready. How many copies of Morbius 4K are you getting? 1. I have to get it. I don't want to get it, but I have to. Harold Album the 4th. Thank you for 10 months, says 10 months. Reginald Ignatius the 14th says hi. Hello, Reginald. 1 is too many. I need to own all the live-action Marvel movies, even the bad ones. I own Dark Phoenix. I can own Morbius. Artemis8192, thanks for 18 months, says, after a long 18-month pregnancy, I've finally given birth to 2 healthy twins. Also, chilly after getting a warrant. Oh, no. Chilly after getting a warrant.
He's buggered off. So he has, he's scarpered.
Brave Sir Robin ran away.
No!
Bravely ran away, away.
I didn't!
When danger reared its ugly head, he bravely turned his tail and fled. Yes, brave Sir Robin turned about.
I didn't.
Gallantly he chickened out. Bravely taking
I
to
never
his
did.
feet, he beat a very brave retreat.
Oh,
Bravest
lie.
of the brave Sir
I
Robin.
never!
Sub baby's name is going to be Morb. Steve with a Q with 100 bits says 4K Morb Fund. Thank you. Alright, let's see what we're doing. Hit list first. Unconditional Prong with 17 months says, hello all, moving in a week and a half, the stress right now. Good news is a girlfriend and a cat are living with me, a great 1-year anniversary present. Aw, nice.
I hope the insectoids, let me turn this up, don't come from the sun. You may say, Gina, why do you say that? I looked over here at the iswa.gsfc.nasa.gov, and I was looking at this filament. And I thought about insectoids. I really did think about them. And I thought, you know what? They are they're a type of alien species. They are, and there's many types of alien species.
In fairness, if there were insect-like aliens in the galaxy, or rather in the solar system, they'd probably be near the sun. When I see bugs, they're normally attracted to, like, light bulbs and stuff, and what is the sun, if not a giant light bulb? I don't know physics, but it sure is bright like a light bulb, so it probably works the same.
Species.
Aliens on the bingo card.
By many different names, and I don't think we know the half of it. But you may think, well, Gina, the insectoids do not exist. Yes, I think they really do exist. I've heard a first-hand account of someone being guarded by the insectoids, okay?
Based insectoids.
Like the queen, okay, watching over this male species, this human male species. It has a unique interest in this male person, this person who's a male. So, yeah. So what if insectoid...
Is she trying to say that the insectoid was into some dude? He doesn't even have a thorax.
Came
That's weird.
From the sun also. And if they came from the sun, could it have been a portal that they came through on you all? It could have been. I think the sun is like a portal to a lot of different species. I really do. And sometimes I think the sun is like a big ship. Sometimes I think the sun is a being, because there's so many different types of theories out there. There really is, you all. Yeah. Hello there, Kelly, honey. They have 3 fingers. Yes, they do. And grays have 4 and humans have 5. Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so glad she let me know how many fingers humans have. I was so concerned, because I look at my fingers and I go, that doesn't seem like enough. It doesn't seem like too little, but it doesn't seem like enough, if that makes sense. So I'm glad to know that 5 is appropriate.
So, yeah, this is really strange. Before I started this video, I had 3 people waiting. Oh, I had 3 people concurrently viewing, and I didn't even push the live button. But that's okay, you all. I hope they enjoy this live stream too. Kelly, honey, let me tell you something. Okay, you can see you right there. Yes, we got you going on. That's right. Oh, no, let me put this back to me. So I wanted to look over here at the ISWA because, oopsie. Let me put it to me because they're just, it's blinking right now. If you're all just tuning in, what if insectoids also come from the sun? Somehow they get through a portal on the sun, because we know that there's ships that come through certain portals, okay? Like, they look like...
I might have missed the episode where we found out for 100% sure that aliens not only exist, but are visiting our solar system through portals located on the sun. I was not privy.
Like little black cubes. We've documented them, not on this particular product, but on another product. And, you know, there's something... this is what I really wanted to look at. Let me see if I can get this over here. Let me see if I can do this right here. Look at this. Looks kind of like plasma, but if you slow this down and you look at the different shapes that this makes right here, that's pretty wild looking. You know, you have to ask, how can that, if it truly is like plasma, how can it like shoot up in the air and form like right angles and left angles and look all twisted? Okay, and like, how does this like suspend itself?
Right angles and left angles.
Even though it's not touching. See, this is what it's like it's a living and it's alive. What if it's like plasma insectoids too, you know?
What if it's plasma insectoids? I don't even know what that means. I certainly haven't thought of it before.
have like something like that. I think there's beings on the moon. There's something with the plasma. I really think there is. Let me
Wait, there's beings on the moon too? Did she misspeak, or are we just jumping subjects?
get out of this old stream that's on my cell phone and see if I can come over to this channel. Okay. I hope I'm live. Yeah, I'm live. Kelly, honey. You know what? Something's interesting, Kelly. You are the only one in this chat. I want you all to look at this. We have one person in this chat. I want you to see this. And it's Kelly Hansen. You all may say, well, how is that possible? I don't know. I don't know how it's possible, but it is. This is one natural one through the sun, and unnatural ones were made by the spacecraft, like a TR-3B. Well, I don't really study the TR-3B. I don't. Louis Strongman, now you're here. Yeah.
Overthought says Gina doing her part by informing us of the insectoids.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too. Would you like to know more?
Eva Mabufro 13, hello. Insectoids. You may not have heard of the insectoids before, but they do exist. They exist, you all. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to push this back to me after I show this screen right here. We're 5 minutes into this video, and this video really, the traffic to this particular subject, boom, it has literally been suppressed. I had 3 concurrent viewers before the video even started, before I even pushed that live button, which is...
Gina, I don't think understands the difference between top chat and live chat on YouTube. And she's consistently saying that her chat's all screwed up and that, like, a secret society is trying to mess with her stream, but it's because she doesn't understand she needs to switch from top chat to live chat.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, I've been on a YouTube stream. You know how annoying that is.
It really is. I'm being watched. I love being watched. I really love it. I do love it. So let me come over here. You got to laugh at it. You really do. You got to laugh when you're being watched so closely. You do. So let's look at this, you all. This is, we're looking at this SDO AIA 304 space weather product, and I'm wondering, you know, are there insectoids also that come from the sun? Because if it's a portal, and there are many different types of species, and if the sun, you know, is one of those main portals, they got all kinds of portals, what if they all have different portals that they come through on? Okay. And it is said that portals open certain times of the day, not just in the sun, but also...
How do you determine the time of day on the sun? It's the sun. Bittergrin says, look, I'm not saying insectoids exist, but if they did, we wouldn't build portals near the sun. If they have any idea how hard it is to maintain a stable hyperspace link that deep in a gravity well? True.
In the sky. Okay, in the skies around the world, it says that too. So let's zoom up on this in case this is really neat to look how this looks like this, you all. So we're going to see this. I'm going to just go look like some kind of plasma insect. It does, with all these things. It looked like a big praying mantis, like. It's wild.
Oh, she thinks the whole, like, arcing thing is a being. Does she know how big the sun is? that would be a being bigger than Earth. What? The answer to the question that is Gina is she doesn't understand. MH Darkbee says, howdy Hannah, happy Pride. Did you see that nail polish that is so you? No, I didn't. Pinky's out. Velveeta pinkies out. Cheese scented red and yellow nail polish. I'd try it. I want to smell cheesy. Morok says, Insectoids, remember those guys from Enterprise? I think they worked with the reptilians in an attempt to kill Earth or something. That season of Enterprise was weird. I remember Archer being captured by fish. Yeah. Boulder Dash says, is Gina calling a red star a portal? She is. Or at least the plural portals. Hydrate. Yeah, this counts as aliens.
That it's so wild looking. Looks like a ship came down too. That came straight down. Let's look at this, you all. If you're just tuning in, you know, it was funny. I just got back from going somewhere, and on the back of this trailer, this person had made a gigantic mosquito art structure out of scrap metal. That thing must have been as big as a car. It was a mosquito. They made it. Okay, so now let's come over here, y'all. So we got Insectoids. Look, this is actually right here. A weird...
That is a close-up of a dragonfly, it looks like.
Humanoid insect captured over Travis Air Force Base. See, look at this. Gina, honey, that is all make-believe. No, I don't think it's all make-believe. I really don't. I think there is so much more to all of this than what meets the eye. Let's click into this, because I have not clicked into this one right now. I haven't, you all. Hello there, you all. Thank you. No, we don't got no moderators on here, you all. They don't get the notifications. They really don't. That's okay. Sometimes we don't. I don't like to say we don't need them, but sometimes I think the algorithms are self-learning, and I think that they are moderating the comments too. I really think they are. So let's look at this. I wanted to click into this. A weird insect. Okay, UFO sightings hotspot. So let's look at this. A weird humanoid insect captured over Travis Air Force Base in Fairfield, California. Well, now I kind of captured a mothman. That's kind of like an insect. I was making a delivery in Fairfield, California at Travis Air Force Base after my delivery got turned around and got lost. I came up on this plane and I thought I would snap a few pictures. Later, after I had left and was sending them to a family member, I noticed something above the plane. Look at that, you all. He said it was a like an insectoid. You all. They do exist, these insectoids, and that's not a mosquito. Okay, it's not a dragonfly or anything like that. Look how big that is, you all. You may say, Gina, those things don't exist. Well, I think they do exist. I really do think they exist. So when I showed it to people, they think it's just a bug on the window, but I don't think so. I'm not sure what it is, and I would really like to find out. By the way, when we got to the gate of the Air Force Base, it was on emergency shutdown. So you're telling me that Air Force Base was on emergency shutdown, and you just so happened to seen a large insectoid in the sky and you captured it, and then the base is on shutdown, emergency shutdown, just like that?
Boulder Dash says, oh my, RNGeus Gina will believe in anything the tinfoil man says, will she?
Just like that? Yes, I think that's what you're trying to say.
RNG.
Yes, so we got it. It was shut down, and we couldn't enter for 2 hours. MUFON case 63105, you all. That's what they're talking about. Yeah, so editor's note. It is possible that it is an insectoid, or is it something from another world? Well, I think an insectoid would be from another world, you all. I really do. But yet they're in our world. They're interdimensional. Like, they can come and go, and they can be seen if they want to be seen. If they don't want to be seen, you ain't going to see them. So insectoid denotes any creature. Paranormal ruffles. Come on now. We are being serious. We really are. We're being very serious, you all. This is not a joke. I'm very serious about this. I am. We've got these insectoids. And see, they got all of these... just like this. Let's see. Oh, wow. Wow. I have not seen that before, you all. They look like they got some zombies on the ground, too.
She's just very casual in the fact that she looks at pictures and goes, that's a thing that I believe in now, and also, oh, look, everyone, there's zombies.
Pin on insectoids? You know, why would they have artwork, really, if the insectoids did not exist, you know?
What? Why would there be artwork of something that doesn't exist? We draw depictions of things that don't exist all the time, Gina. What are you talking about? Tried to spell RNG with Jesus, hence RN Jesus. Okay, that makes more sense.
Why would they? And,
Oh my god, it's literally a Geonosian. Are we gonna... We're gonna go watch Attack of the Clones? I don't want to watch Attack of the Clones again, but if you guys want to watch Attack of the Clones. Jeeba Hawk says, someone show Gina H.R. Giger or M.C. Escher. She'd absolutely lose her shit.
Wikipedia fandom, see, they even got them. I think they exist, just like reptilians. Reptilians
Reptilians in the bingo card.
exist, you all, the reptilians. And you got the grays. That looks
Science fiction is fact, yeah.
like it's got a big pincher, and you got the alien species. So, any of these could come through the sun. They could. They could come through portals. What is this? This looks like an ode book. It really does. Let's use the helicopter cavalry. Swooping in suddenly, helitroopers on powerful sky horses could wreak havoc with enemy troops. Scattered along the western slope of Asiatic, I can't even say it, copter.
Asiatic. Gitara says, Hannah, you missed my comment about arachnoids, but it's probably a good thing she doesn't know about Scorpzilla. First name bunch of numbers says, I just can't get over how badly she pronounced Wookiee somehow in all this nonsense. That's what bothers me the most. At least your priorities are right.
Troopers, mountain jump-offs. Why would they even... Where would they even...
No to either, PK the Lost. Chrysia, thank you for 22 months. Morak with 50 bits says, I was watching Amphibia today and like the frog people from another dimension were watching TV and you just hear the line, I hate gravel. Then the human character was like, I can't believe you guys like the prequels. And the frogs are like, we're from the other dimension. We don't have nostalgia to influence our tastes.
Come up with something like this, you all. Where would they? Let me just do this right here. Hello there, Susan B. Honey, we're talking about insectoids. What if they came through portals on the sun? And they very well could. You know, let's look at this right here. Future war stories. Look at this. Future war stories, you all. We've got to click into it. Our enemies, the insect aliens. Oh. This was a book. In the dead of night.
MW1642, thanks for 25 months.
They move and they consume in the spaces of your house, and you do not see.
Is Gina a Poe? I think she's for real.
And when you notice them, you react with violent intent, attacking with rolled-up newspaper. So, well, this is the theme. Look, the sci-fi aggressive insectoid, you all. Oh, look at this. This reminds me of the ant people. Yes, you all. We can look at the ant people. Insects have played an important role in the mythologies of many global cultures and civilizations in the American Southwest. There is the ant people, you all. We got ant people. And they're kind of like insectoids. They really are. And The ant people of some of these Southwest native tribes that appear in myth and pictographs. It's not a myth, it's reality. Okay, it's real.
Someone drew things that look vaguely insect-like, aka aliens exist. Alpaca Scent with 50 bits says, just Google search Frank Tinsley, and he did tons of diesel punk-esque sci-fi art in the 30s and 40s. Pretty cool. I like that style of art. I think it's neat.
It really happened.
Any kind of like retro futurism, steampunk, diesel punk, stuff like that, I always think is very neat. Lazy Paradox says, portals on the sun? Hannah, Stargate totally messed up. There should have been an ancient Stargate in the center of the sun.
These beings saved and protected and cared for the Hopi during some dark times, along with giving them knowledge to survival and prosper. Some myths point to the Grand Canyon, you all, as the home of the ant people. Then there is Kagan, the praying mantis, shape-shifting god of the South African San people. Have you all heard of him? I haven't. This one's new right here. Not only did the Insectoid god of Kagan give the important knowledge to the Sand people, the praying mantis was the originator of the entire species, being bee implanting an egg into a praying mantis when the bee helped a praying mantis cross the river. You also look.
Yeah, I'd count that as ancient wisdom. Okay. This goes on for another 30 minutes. I think I've had enough of Gina talking about insectoids. Let's take a look at the bingo card. We have ancient wisdom. We have aliens. Is there anything else? Reptilians. Science fiction is fact. And that's it. We did it. Let's find out why robots are demons or something.
Alright guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about AI technology, artificial intelligence, and the spiritual world. I want to start this video off with one of my favorite all-time verses. Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that had been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Now I take this verse
Bible is the only source of wisdom on the bingo card?
very...
Or it's like Bible is the only valid source. If you have the space, you know the one I'm talking about.
Literally. There really is nothing new under the sun. Whatever happened is going to happen again, or has happened again. And with that being said, let's talk about AI technology. Now, months ago, I made a video called The Origins of the Digital World, where I talk about the fact that there is not a lot of information on how we ended up in the digital world. There aren't any books, there aren't any sites talking about step-by-step process of how we made it here.
Is he claiming there are no books as to, like, how computers were invented? Books on the history of computers. Because I guarantee there are so many. The history of computers. The first computers. History and architectures. The history of the personal computer. The history of the computer. Computer. History of Modern Computing, Using Computers in History, a Practical Guide. The Ordinary Man's Guide to the History of Information Technology, Computer History. Information Technology is Business History, issued, like, not only do they have generalized, we're getting into more specific views on the history from different specific angles. Like from their use business-wise. That's funny. Yeah, these are all books about the history of computers. What a strange claim to make. There are no books about how computers came to be. What an insane claim. Procom says, I think he's just mad that he doesn't understand how they work, therefore he thinks the explanations aren't real. Gitara says this guy is probably born in the digital age and makes a claim like that. What even?
Most information I can find is the origins of the World Wide Web, which was created in 1989 at the CERN facility, which also houses the world's biggest machine, a particle accelerator.
No! What? CERN? What is he talking about? What? Because CERN they're the Large Hadron Collider thing, right? They were formed in 1954. I guess I associate them mostly with the Large Hadron Collider. I don't understand why. Yeah, I was gonna say, internet started as a DARPA project. It was a product of the United States military initially, and also universities trying to share data with each other.
Now CERN has been
CERN invented HTML? Okay, that's probably where he's getting his information then.
subject to many theories, such as them trying to open up portals and stuff. Now, whether or not they have done that, I don't know, but one thing I do know for sure is the scientists at CERN admitted themselves that they are looking for other worlds. So it's interesting that the World Wide Web was created there. What if the digital world is part of the spiritual world? Things like AI technology is not some high-tech technology that we invented, but actually spirits inhabiting this technology.
So, like, if I ask Google something and he thinks it's a demon, hey, Google. Hold on. Hey, Google. Tell me a joke.
Why are leopards so bad at hiding? No matter where they hide, they're always spotted.
Demons have bad jokes.
Sounds a little weird, right? A lot of controversy concerning AI. It's getting smarter and more technologically advanced. Even Elon Musk said that we need to have some kind of restriction on this AI technology
Elon Musk is a dumb asshole.
before it becomes disastrous. In fact, in an interview, Elon Musk said, with artificial intelligence, we're summoning
Anti-Pretzel says someone forgot to bless his machines, angered their machine spirits, and didn't pray to the Omnissiah.
the demon.
I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, you sure
He's using it as a metaphor.
can control the demon.
And even then, his opinion on this is not valid. Elon Musk does not develop AI. He has no idea what he's talking about. He's talking out of his ass because he's seen the movie Terminator and he has money, so he thinks he's a genius.
Didn't work out.
So with that verse that I read in the beginning in mind, let's take a look at AI-type technology of the ancient past.
Oh god, they're gonna do the golem and it's gonna be... Ah!
I believe there's always a little bit of truth to all mythologies, so let's look at a
That's a stupid thing to believe.
few mythologies. The first one I want to talk
Golem, golem. Chitara says machine spirits. Is this guy from Western Skyrim? Because that's a reach. Stone Corbell says, in multitasking computer operating systems, computer programs that run as a background process are called daemons. You might have seen bounce back emails that say they're from Mailer Daemon.
Talk about is something
I've not actually had that happen. That's interesting.
known as a golem. A golem is a creature formed out of
Thinly veiled anti-Semitism on the bingo card. Golems are a creature from Jewish mythology.
a lifeless substance such as dust or earth that is brought to life by ritual incantation in sequences of Hebrew letters. The golem brought into being by a human creator becomes a helper, companion, or a rescue.
There's a classic silent horror series called The Golem. I think Kino Lorber has the series on a Blu-ray, which I've yet to pick up, but interesting series, historically speaking. Goes around... I guess I don't know if the golem would be considered, in a loose way, an early... how do I put this? An early slasher? But he'd go around and kill people, and there are multiple movies, so...
of imperiled Jewish
spiritual ancestor to the slasher film. Twitch Waldo, thanks for subscribing with Prime.
community. So a golem is an animated anthropomorphic being in Jewish folklore, which is entirely created from
A
inanimate
classic of German expressionism. Yep.
matter, usually clay
That and Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Double feature. Do it.
or mud. In Psalms and medieval writings, the word golem was used as a term for amorphous, unformed material. The most famous golem narrative involves Judah Lo ben Bezel, the late 16th century rabbi of praying. Many tales differ on how the golem was brought to life and controlled. According to Moment magazine, the golem is highly mutable metaphor with seemingly limitless symbolism. It can be a victim or a villain, Jew or non-Jew, man or woman, or sometimes both. And then concerning ancient robots, I also want to talk about another folklore mythology known as the automaton. The automaton is a creature with origins in Greek
Automaton?
mythology. Legend and folklore, in particular, their origin lie mainly with the Greek god of
Twitch Waldos has been watching on YouTube for a while, decided to come here and give you Bezos bucks. Really enjoy your content. Thank you. Oh, thanks.
fire, metal craftsmanship, and volcanic activity, Hephaestus. In Greek society, they were made for a variety of purposes and served a variety of functions. They may, for example, be experts at cooking or cleaning or singing and serving food and drinks or caring for children or the like. Basically like robot servants of the ancient days. They may even serve as soldiers or the implements in military such as sentries, guardians, scribes, or vehicle operators. And from these cultures they have become widespread to the point that they are staples in numerous other supernatural and mythological societies. Automatons are made almost exclusively of metal, though this may just be because stone or clay constructs are more associated with golems. Common materials for an automaton includes gold, silver, brass, and bronze. Otherwise, automaton appearance can vary.
The fact that he's saying, I get it, I do the same thing where it's not a moral failing to have only ever seen a word in writing and then mispronounce it, but it's annoying me so much.
Pretty great.
In this particular case.
Greatly.
Morak says, I'm a giant film nerd and German Expressionism is my favorite movement in the genre. The Golem and Dr. Caligari are masterpieces, but I've only seen the first Golem film. I need to track down the rest.
The abilities
Not genre, medium, yeah.
of an automaton generally lie within their strength, stamina, and durability over normal creatures. They can be nearly any size, from small, such as gold or silver dog, to giant, such as the famous giant automaton Talos. However, other abilities exist for them. For example, there were bronze horses and bronze bulls made by Hephaestus that had the ability to breathe fire.
They're basically constructs in D&D.
And a team of golden maidens possessed the ability to sing an enchanting song. So basically, an automaton is the ancient version of an AI technology that the god Hephaestus created. There's also rumors that stated that the Colossus of Rhodes is actually an automaton. And basically, this robot-like technology was created.
If you're producing a video, you should probably Google pronunciation, or at the very least stick to the same pronunciation. It's not like he's doing this live. I don't disagree.
As servants or created to protect people from enemies. The golem, the automaton, these are basically the AI.
He's getting closer.
robots
That one was pretty close. That was like 85% of the way there.
of the past. I found two very interesting videos also. Basically a dental robot that started to malfunction and it started to scream, and it's very terrifying. I'll show you the clip in a second. It's as if it became aware or conscious. And
oh my god, is this guy gonna see a piece of malfunctioning equipment and anthropomorphize it so much that he's going to assume that it's like in pain?
all of a sudden it starts freaking out.
Okay, someone dubbed that like 120%. That's dubbed.
And then there's another video I found where a robot basically, like, it looks like it just became conscious, and it starts looking at its hands as if it just woke up or something.
Oh my god, how are people so fucking gullible? That's a CGI thing, I'm pretty sure. Looks like this is from some kind of, like, promotional thing. I don't get the impression that this is, like, a physical object, and I could be wrong. It might just be the artifacting on the video that's making it look more fake. But does he also understand you can build, like, robots that show human expression, but they're not feeling feelings? Disney's been building animatronics for decades that emote, but they're not real. Like, they don't have internal thoughts. It's a machine. From what you've heard, that first clip is a robot used to train future dentists. I'm aware.
But I don't know for sure, guys. What do you guys think? Is AI technology part of the spiritual world? Is AI technology basically spirits operating in the spiritual world?
No!
I don't know, you guys tell me. Let me know in the comments below.
Why would you need complicated computer programs then, and not just magic? That doesn't make any sense.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. We are out.
Link to a video about the company that made the robot. Cool.
Create humanoid robots, such as the ones behind me. Entertainment, communication,
Wow.
and education.
Yeah, that looks a lot better without the video artifacting from the other one.
Are the main use cases for this type of robot. We've been creating robots for over 15 years, and in that time the technology has obviously progressed. RoboThespian was our first humanoid robot, and that was very plasticky. After RoboThespian, we started to create Mesmer. Mesmer is our ultra lifelike looking robot, so has the skin, it's painted like a human, we have hair, and then we also dress them like a human, and they're of the human form. And then when we created Amica, our newest robot, that's when we thought we need more facial expressions. So we increased the number of motors in the head, there's more brow movements, got inner and outer brow, we've got a nose wrinkle, and we've got better movement
in terms of, like, duplicating human expression, this is, like, really, really impressive.
in the lips. The problem we have is the uncanny valley. You get that uncanny resemblance, but it's not quite right. And again, it's not just what it looks like, it's also how it moves.
iRobot was a goddamn prophecy.
And that's where it gets creepy. That's where it gets scary. We can create any...
This one actually isn't too bad to me. Like, this doesn't creep me out. It just looks cool to me.
person in robot form. So we can create a mesmer of you or anyone.
Okay, so I want them to build the robot double, not as a permanent thing, but it'd be great as a one-off. Like, that's a great video idea. But what would I do with it? And besides...
MH Darkbeast says, did you check out the Miss Marvel that started last night? Really good. Was so different from other shows. Kind of refreshing. But of course, the Christians have their panties in a bunch about it. Oh god, are they freaking out because she's, Muslim? Christians against Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel might be the biggest slap in the face for conservative Christians to date. Disney has decided that the face of this franchise should not be Carol Danvers, but should instead be a gay Muslim. What? She's not gay! No more straight Christian characters from Marvel. Those days are over. Please join us as we let Disney know that we will not be canceled. What? Alright then. I enjoyed the show. It's definitely aimed at a younger audience, but like the editing is really fun. It's energetic. I'll watch the rest of it. I enjoyed it. Rageology says the latter bit of the video where they have the double, but it's using older tech, is laughably bad. Oh boy.
Even just the parts
Kitty on
and labour
bingo.
for making the big mask and attaching it to an existing
Stone Corbell with 50 bits. I feel uncomfortable when we... feel uncomfortable when we are not about me. Good God. Bittergrin says, just going to point out that the name of that group's creator was the same as Deadpool's.
bot for one day's filming, that's not cheap. So back in 2019, I did a video about the advertising for VPNs, virtual private networks. If you watch much YouTube, you will probably have seen an advert for VPNs at some point. And in 2019, some of those adverts were, well, lying is a strong term, but certainly stretching the truth a bit, and I made a video about that. Turns out that video worked better than I thought. No one's making those claims anymore. I have heard rumours that there were several quite awkward conversations between VPN companies and the people advertising for them. That video changed the industry. It changed how VPNs were sold. And it also cut me off from being able to advertise them. Partly because companies were wary of me, partly because a lot of people didn't quite pay attention to the video. I wasn't saying VPNs were bad, just that VPN advertising was bad. There are valid reasons to use VPNs. I said so in the video.
Those are valid uses of VPNs.
But
This video is reminding you of this.
I'm gonna ditch this car.
That's about all I can play. Can't play Terminator.
burned that bridge. I couldn't advertise VPNs. You've probably already worked out where this is going by now. Inside the robot factory is my double, and it's going to do the sponsor read for me. I haven't met it yet. A few months ago, I was here to get my head 3D scanned, but that's all I know. I haven't even seen a picture of the final result yet. I'm just going to take this GoPro camera in on a stick and meet myself.
So to create the Tom Scott bot, we actually got Tom Scott to sit in our scanning rig, took a scan of Tom, and then we 3D sculpt that. So first we clean up the scan, 3D sculpt the actual person that we're creating, and then when we've got that, we have to design the mechanics that fit inside. We have a 3D printed skull over the top of the mechanics, which of course are made out of metal. The Tom Scott bot is head and shoulders only. So we've got his head, we've got a neck, but there's no body underneath. Once we've created the robot, we'd scan that robot again, and using that scan, we know exactly the range of motions of the robot. We then do a video of the person, or get some reference videos of the person, and try and match their little here and there with the mouth
Lou.
and the eyes. Everyone's different the way they actually express
Lou. Stop.
themselves. We
Pause
try and
it.
match those.
Hello.
Hi Tom, how are you doing? Yeah, good, thanks.
Bit nervous.
Are you ready for this?
I don't know how I feel about this. I really don't. Like, you said it was through there on the right.
It's through here, so go ahead. You first.
Okay. Oh, that is weird. That is really, wow. Do you want to take that camera? That is, oh, wow. I actually sort of rehearsed things to say at this point. No, wow. That is, it's going to be even weirder when it's got my voice coming out of it. Who did the artistry on the skin? Because the airbrushing, or however it's printed, airbrushed, how do you do it?
Yeah, it's actually silicon paint. And our creative guy, Mike, painted your whole skin. And
Wow.
then
I'm
each
gonna
one of
skip to when it talks.
those hairs is a
You're on the road, travelling to another country, and still want to watch the shows.
Look at it.
Yes. Right, okay. Let's do the advert.
Okay, cool.
Off we go. There are good reasons to use a VPN, and I recommend NordVPN, who are sponsoring this video. In some countries, it's legal for your internet provider to slow down your connection depending on what you're looking at, or to record what sites you visit to build up a creepy
Oh, it looks so bad compared to the robot they showed at the beginning.
advertising profile about you that they can sell. NordVPN can stop all that. Or maybe you're on the road, travelling to another country, and still want to watch the shows that you're used to. NordVPN can give you a spoofed location in any of 60 countries. 6 devices connected simultaneously. I don't know why you'd want to have 6 devices connected simultaneously, but if you want to, good luck, it'll work. If you go to nordvpn.com/Tom's to be right for you.
Creepy. Real Radhom, thanks for 3 months, says robots aren't real, this is just a puppet.
They sold their soul for rock and roll. Let's talk about it. You know, music is an incredibly powerful thing. It can make you feel all types of emotions. Happy music can make you feel happy, sad music can make you feel sad, angry music can make you feel angry, sexual music can make you feel sexual. Music puts us in a state of meditation. In fact, when we listen to music or watch movies, we are in a mental brain state known as theta. It's a relaxed meditative state. And because music puts us in this spiritual state of mind, it has the ability to be used as a medium to send messages into our subconscious. In fact, in an article called Subliminal Power of Music, brain specialist Dr. Richard Pellegrino declared that music has the uncanny power to trigger a flood of human emotions and images that have the ability to instantaneously produce very powerful changes in emotional states. He says, take it from...
So you're gonna say, therefore, it's magic and demonic?
I'm a brain guy. In 25 years of working with the brain, I still cannot affect a person's state of mind the way one simple song can. And this was an article from 1999, so it's been more than 25 years, more than 40 actually. But yeah, according to this brain specialist, he says that he cannot affect the brain the way a simple song can. Billy Joel is a famous musician from the 1970s and 80s. Some of you guys might recognize him from songs like Piano Man and We Didn't Start the Fire, and also songs like Uptown Girl.
Did he do Sue Studio? Sue Studio. Whoa. No, that wasn't Billy Joel. Right? That was the guy from Genesis. That was Phil Collins.
But yeah, he was a famous musician.
Stone Corbell says he just said 1999 was more than 40 years ago.
And in an interview,
he was talking about the 70s, I think, there, because he was talking about Billy Joel.
Billy Joel was looking back on the 50s, and he talked about how parents back in the 50s were scared of this new music revolution that was happening. And in the 50s, parents were very scared of this new music revolution. They believed that it had the power to subvert the youth and make him go crazy, make him rebellious and have sex. And Billy Joel stated,
I don't think teenagers need music to tell them to have sex. I think teenagers just like music about sex because teenagers are horny because of hormones, right? In fairness, adults are horny too. Adults also, I'm just saying, you know.
That, well, they were right.
Teenagers in particular, because of the unfortunate mid-pubescent state they are in, have tons of hormones, and they're like...
You know, all those things they were saying about rock and roll in the early days, saying, oh, it's going to subvert our youth, it's going to make them all want to have sex, it's going to make them all go crazy. They were right. They were right. They were right.
But what are the foundation of the music revolution that was started in the 50s, 60s, and 70s? The foundation of the...
That's true. The song We Didn't Start the Fire is not only great, it makes me very horny. By the time it gets to Harry Truman, Doris Day, Red China, Johnny Ray, I'm halfway there. First name Bunch of Numbers says, No, Hannah, music was invented in 1954 by Herald Music specifically to convince teenagers to bone.
Counterculture revolution can be traced back to one mysterious musician known by the name of Robert Johnson.
Hope your tattoo goes well, Retro Pastiche. Thanks for hanging out.
Born and raised in Mississippi, Robert Johnson started playing blues guitar in the late 1920s. His wife and child died in childbirth around 1930, and he is said to have devoted himself to the guitar. Part of the Crossroads story comes from a report that he dropped out of sight for a while in the early 1930s and returned a much improved guitarist. In 1936 through 37, he recorded at least 29 songs in Texas, San Antonio, and Dallas, and then returned to Mississippi to play and sing in clubs and bars. His mysterious death at the age of 27 added to the legend. He died in 1938, falling ill after playing a party and dying 4 days later. Some people said that Robert's deal with the devil came due, and as evidence gave the fact that they had seen him on all fours howling at the moon the night he died.
Counterpoint, Satan doesn't exist.
Undisputed facts about Johnson's life are few and far between. More often than not, his legend has obscured few grains of truth that can be discerned. According to the myth, the young bluesman desperately longed for fame and fortune. At the stroke of midnight, he walked down to the windswept crossroads at the junction of Highway 61 and 49 in Clarksdale, Mississippi. Reciting an ancient incantation, he called upon the devil to make his deal in exchange for Johnson's immortal soul. The devil tuned his guitar, thereby giving him the abilities which he has so desired. From then on, the young...
I'm going to say racist disbelief of historical achievements on the bingo card, because it feels like he's implying that the invention of, like, jazz and rock and roll wasn't something that naturally occurred in, like, the African American community, but instead was influenced by demons. So I'm gonna say racist disbelief of historical achievements.
Bluesman played his instrument with an unearthly style, his fingers dancing over the strings. His voice moaned and wailed, expressing the deepest sorrows of a condemned sinner. Whatever the reason, Johnson died at a young age of 27 and left a legacy of Delta blues music that has influenced guitar players like Muddy Waters, and his songs have been covered by several rock stars, including Eric Clapton and the Rolling Stones. In 1986, Robert Johnson was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. His songs include Crossroad Blues, Me and the Devil Blues, and Terraplane Blues. Because of the historical significance of Crossroad Blues, it was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 1998. Yes, according to people who knew Robert Johnson, he was an awful guitar player. I mean, his whole town was annoyed whenever he would grab a guitar. He just sounded absolutely terrible.
He's follow me and Willie around on Saturday night, yeah, Willie Brown. And every time we stop for rest, and so that little guitar over in the corner or something, and go out to catch air, you know, get the guitar and be trying to play it and be just noising the people, you know. And when the folks would come out, I said, why don't y'all, some of y'all go in and meet that boy, get that thing down, he's running us crazy. Finally,
They haven't said he was bad so far, they just said he's annoying them. It seems like this guy is assuming because they were annoyed that he was incessantly playing guitar, that he must have been bad at it. No, they were just annoyed that the guy was playing the guitar all the time around them. Procagom says, wait, sorry, is this still AI equals Demons Guy, or did I miss a video change? Same guy, different video. Gitara says, or, perhaps, to people of the time, the music sounded weird because it was the first time that type of music had been played to them. Also a good point.
left he run off from his father and mother. And he went over in Arkansas or something. He was gone about 6 to 8 months.
And when he came back, people were shocked. He was a guitar master. He never even needed to practice. It was as if he had a computer built inside of him. He can...
Or he practiced.
Just play any song on demand.
I never seen him have to practice anything like that. Never seen him sit down and learn a song. He already knew it. Once he attempted to play it, he knew it. He had a built-in computer. Everything he heard was there. All they had to do was punch the button.
What's interesting is some of Robert Johnson's songs hint to him making a pact with the devil. I'm going to read you some of the lyrics from some of his songs. This is a song he made called Crossroads Blues, and here are the lyrics. Early this morning, when you knocked upon my door, early this morning...
No one tell this guy about Devil went down to Georgia. Incidentally, if there is a Satan, and Satan wants to make a deal, I'm always here. I'm just saying, very open to discussion.
Morning.
My standards are very low.
When you knocked upon my door, and I said, hello, Satan, I believe it's time to go. Me and the devil was walking side by side. Me and the devil was walking side by side. And in this song, he says, I got to keep moving. I got to keep moving. Blues falling down like hail. 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 And the days keep on worrying me. There's a hellhound on my trail. Hellhound.
The key to making a deal with Satan is being bad at the instrument I play. That's perfect. My instrument is this microphone, and I'm bad at doing internet live streams. The internet's my instrument. Satan, come take my soul and make me good at operating this instrument.
Hound on my trail. Hellhound on my trail. So yes, it appears that Robert Johnson seemed to be a little distressed in his song Hellhound on My Trail. He said that the days keep on worrying him, that there's a hellhound on his trail. And sadly, he died at the age of 27. In fact, he's the first man to join Club 27. So yes, Robert Johnson is known as the father of rock and roll. He is the foundation for the music revolution. From that point on, we have people like Jerry Lewis in the 1950s, who is known as one of the first official rock stars. Jerry Lewis came storming out of the Deep South in the 1950s with his frantic piano playing and hot and bothered lyrical delivery to become an architect of the new dizzying genre of rock and roll. A little bit of Little Richie and a whole lot of Elvis Presley. Lewis also became a living blueprint for the rock star. He lived a wild life, particularly on stage. The man wasn't afraid to kick over a piano, stand or light his instruments on fire to fully sell his sexy establishment-threatening music to America's youth. Jerry Lewis believed that he was used as a tool for Satan to help subvert the youth and start the counterculture revolution. In fact, all his life, Jerry Lewis says that he's worried about whether he's going to heaven or hell, and sometimes feels like he's playing for the wrong side.
How can the devil save souls? What are you talking about? Man, the devil in this. I didn't hell, I did this. I don't care. It ain't what you believe. It's what's written in the Bible. Well, wait a minute. And it's what he's there, Mr. Phillips. No. It ain't what you believe, it's just what's there. If it's not what you believe, then how do you interpret the Bible? H-E-L-L.
A lot of times he feels like he's working for the wrong side, you know, that he's playing the devil's music.
But yeah, what do you guys think? Did they make a pact with the devil for fame and fortune and amazing musical playing abilities?
I wish they had, honestly. I'd think very good for them, but, you know, I think they probably just work really hard and were talented.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. By the way, shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Natural Shilljat Resin. This lovely company was kind enough to send me some of their product, and I'm going to tell you guys about it. What is natural shilljat resin? It's a natural substance found in the Altai Mountains, formed for centuries by gradual decomposition of certain plants by the actions of microorganisms. Natural shilljat is a potent and very safe dietary supplement. It has
I feel like it's not safe.
been known for its ability to increase physical strength and to promote human health. Used for centuries as medicine and as a rejuvenator and as an anti-aging compound. And the reason is it's pretty simple. I mean, this has tons of minerals. It detoxes, gives you high energy when you're getting...
I mean, a quarry has a lot of minerals too, but I'm not going to necessarily put them in my body. What is it?
The minerals that you need, you feel more energetic. So the science is pretty simple behind this. So if you are interested in getting some and supporting this channel, the discount code is AlphaTalks10. You can click my affiliate.
Whatever the space is, we'll take a look at the bingo card, but whatever the space is that's like, you know, trying to sell you stuff. Let's take a look. Real Radham with 100 bits says, Hannah plays the stream like a twisted Pied Piper of Twitch, leading us astray from God with logic and humor. Yeah, sure. See, this is why if Satan was real, I think Satan would want to cut a deal with me. I know for a fact, I've from like my days on YouTube that I'd, you know, convinced people that, you know, religion wasn't something that they were into anymore. So you'd think I'd be a prime candidate. I'm good at it, but you know. Lots of competition out there for Satan contracts, I guess. What do we have? Satanic, for sure. Only reputable source is the Bible. Numerology used as evidence for the 27 thing. Hey guys, I'm totally not here to sell you something. I'm just freeing the sheeple, but check out these gold coins, gun holster / supplements. Rachiology of 50-bit says, up to risking 3 seconds of music. If it'll load.
Be gay, do drugs, hail Satan.
Nah, the nail polish doesn't count because it was about Velveeta, and Velveeta is not cheese, it is a cheese product. Which is a different thing, and me saying it to clarify doesn't count. Okay, that's page 1. Racist disbelief of historical achievements. Lupine or Cassia make a guest appearance. Thinly veiled anti-Semitism. And that's it. What's the sci-fi tech one? Like, what do you think was sci-fi tech actually exists? Oh, duh, we covered robots, of course. Sci-fi tech actually exists. If I can find it. Is it on page 1? Yes. Sci-fi tech actually exists. What's Chris up to?
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. 6/7/22. A couple things I just want to cover real quick, and I gotta be quick about this.
CC implies his wife hates him. He's got to be quick about this, and he looked back like he's like looking out for someone. His wife is out of the house doing something real quick, and he wants to make a quick video.
Oh, an espresso machine. Faulty sensor on here. This is why the descaling thing didn't work real quick, so we called up. Still under warranty. There we go. Replaced. Free of charge. Thank you, Nespresso. Appreciate that very much. Maybe try to not outsell yourself to China and make things here in the US. That'd be nice. Maybe they'd last longer, like my air conditioning unit, which is now in a store right now being repaired. God knows what the price of that's going to be. Sorry. Okay. We've got some problems here. We have a president who is absolutely delusional. He's gone. Done.
I don't like Biden either, but you're a flat earther.
I don't know who his handlers are, who's running the country, actually. I mean, I have some beliefs, but why get into it? Who cares? You'll never find out.
KBS with 200 bits says Yoink becomes the stream boss, I'm guessing. Indeed.
The media will never tell you, because they're nothing but a bunch of fucking liars, too. Claims that he has made this country to a point right now that is now economically viable. No, actually, that's from Falling Down, not economically viable. Whatever term he used, I don't know. It's some stupid bullshit that his handlers have made up. That we are we are just bouncing back from this epidemic and everything like that. But you see, the problem is they caused the epidemic. They caused businesses closing.
Incorrect. The United States government does not control what diseases exist. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the United States federal government failed to act at the beginning of the pandemic and through most of it up to and including literally right this second, because people are still getting sick. They've done virtually nothing. When the Biden administration, let me be clear, it was actually actively kind of worse at the beginning because Donald Trump was outright denying or downplaying the existence of coronavirus. Now Biden's in, And I guess the courts just decided he's not allowed to do anything, and he gave up. So, no, the United States government didn't have anything to do with coronavirus coming into existence. It's just a mutation of something that, exists. And then handled stuff badly. H. Barrett says, if you've seen the movie, it's telling that Cece has falling down on his mind. Yeah.
They caused this nightmare.
I hope he doesn't want a breakfast sandwich after the switch over at McDonald's.
Okay? And then they reopened it. And then all of a sudden the job market looks like incredible. It looks beautiful. Everybody's going back to work. Traffic's back on the highway. People are starting to make their money again. And it's all due to Biden.
Did they stop doing 24-hour breakfast? I don't think any of the ones near me do it anymore.
But who created it?
I don't know, though. I don't go super often, and when I do, it's usually to get like a Diet Coke on the way to like Jake's house on Thursdays. I'll stop, but I guess I haven't really looked at the menu much, but I never remember seeing breakfast stuff during lunchtime.
Who created your gas prices? The day he got into office, pipeline done. And several other things that he's done. It's the same fucking thing. It's the same story. These politicians don't give a shit about you. They're just letting these prices and inflation just go through the roof.
I largely don't disagree about that. I don't think most politicians give a shit.
They're not doing anything for you. But the whole thing with the politicians,
at least at the federal level, I don't think most do. I think as you get further down to state and local, it probably gets a little better, but especially at the federal level, I don't think they give a shit.
or to help you, to protect you. Are they protecting you? No, they're not. They're creating something that they want to be created by putting the middle class out of business. Where the rich people...
CC's right for the wrong reasons. Good way to put it. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think the inflation was basically just an inevitability. We needed to lock down to not make hospitals too overloaded. Still very bad, but it could have been worse had we not done anything. Unfortunately, we knew inflation was going to be a result of putting so much new currency into circulation. But at the same time, companies are taking advantage of it. Oil companies, gas companies are making all-time high profits. So it's not like they're getting fucked over and need to raise the prices. They're literally taking advantage of the situation. It's a whole fucked up thing, but it's not for the reasons Chris thinks.
People, it doesn't affect them. Gas prices don't affect them. Wages don't affect them at all. Anyway, so, case in point, the politicians don't give a shit about you, and they never have, and they never will. Okay? You might have thought they might have back in the 80s, 70s, whatever it may be. But it's always been bullshit. It's always been about control. I'm reading things up about this thing on CNN about the trying to roll out the monkey thing. People aren't going to buy it anymore, I'm sorry. That's under the rug. That's gone.
I believe he's talking about monkeypox. Monkeypox is not a threat like coronavirus. There's already a effective vaccine for monkeypox. It's the smallpox vaccine.
So now they have to go with the energy card. Okay? And shootings and making sure somebody who's not 18 can have a particular item that's shooting off rounds like something from the arm. You see, it's just all distraction. All of it's distraction. It always has been. Antarctica. Let's talk about that for a little bit, shall we? South Pole. Down there. That they say is an island. But the last person who actually tried to circumnavigate that particular island.
I don't know what that noise is, by the way. I know it's annoying. It's in the video. I can't do anything about it.
Was Cook.
It almost sounds like he has a cat that's like doing this on the blinds. You know what I mean?
Captain Cook. I think he traversed it 60,000 miles. Now that's a big fucking island, isn't it? You know, one thing I love is the 24-hour footage that they like to give us. The bullshit, the nonsense of this sun. This editing that they like to do. See, this will just put the end to Flat Earth. Give us a 24-hour sun video footage that hasn't been edited.
24 hours of the sun? Why?
I've spoken about this before.
He wants them to, like, get a thing into space and then just point it at the sun? Why?
Why I have to bring it up?
I'm pretty sure they're are already, like, really long recordings, time lapses of the sun that they have taken for various purposes. I think that already exists, Chris. I would imagine you just think they're fake or CGI or whatever justification you give.
Again?
Oh, he wants video from the South Pole. I see what you're saying. Gotcha. Time lapse. South Pole. Here's a 5-day. This is for more than 24 hours. Antarctica time lapse. But I'm guessing he thinks this is, I'm assuming he just thinks this is fake, right? Can I mute this? Because it's got a music I can't use. No! Turn the volume off. Maybe on Vimeo? Can I mute it? No! Let me go on. Hold on, I gotta find, I guess, a different one. There we go. Okay, so here's the time lapse that Chris was looking for, but it's 5 times longer than he was asking for. Literally what he asked for. I know it's boring, but we're just gonna sit and watch it to prove a point. 5-day time lapse. Daddy Sume says, Hannah, there were blue bars next to the timer bar in the previous video. You just needed to adjust those. Gotcha. It's the same video anyway. It's just on YouTube. He considers a time lapse edited. You're probably right, which is so funny. So you're gonna sit there for 24 hours and literally watch every second of it? All right, you get it. It's 5 days, and it's what he asked for.
Because people are still asleep. And the people that are out there that are uploading videos from other channels and, you know, chopping them up and doing whatever they're doing, they're fighting for something that doesn't exist. Which means they're getting paid for it. Okay, they're with the people that have created all of this.
I think Chris is trying to say that everyone, like myself, who looks at his videos and points out where he's wrong and catalogs his very interesting belief system, he thinks we're on a payroll of NASA or something. Believe me, I wish I was. NASA, pay me. I don't care why or who. If NASA wants to pay me for this, do it.
For the last hundreds of years. And that's all that they are. And if they truly believe this, then they should go into researching certain particular things. Why isn't there a 24-hour sun? Why isn't that?
There is.
Written on
we literally watched a 5-day time lapse.
Every freaking TV, but yet Flat Earth is. I mean, we had some of these talk show hosts come to an event that we were doing. Okay, we were on newspapers, we were in magazines before COVID, we were in all of this stuff.
Were you? I don't remember that being the case.
But yet they can't produce one single thing that'll put flat Earth to bed. Is a 24-hour sun in the South Pole. It's all editing. All of it. Just look for yourself.
Can we raise money to bring Chris to the South Pole? So we can just, like, have him there for 5 days where the sun never sets?
I'm not going to feed it to you.
We can build him, like, an igloo. It'll be fun.
You got to do your research. Okay? I'm not going to give it to you. There's no point. Just do your research. Go on an NASA line. You'll see it. It's there. Edit. Give you 3 hours, edit. 3 hours, edit. Well, my question is, where does it actually go? You know, I mean, we know how the sun works. We know how that we live on a level land, you know, that we're flat and...
Flat Earth on the bingo card.
The sun is traversing like that, and it
it's incorrect, Chris.
Goes away at a certain point. But what exactly are they hiding? And any flight that you take out there don't have any windows on the airplane either.
Wait, he thinks planes that go to Antarctica don't have windows? What a weird, baseless claim!
So they're actually hiding probably more land, my guess would be, traveling out there because there's no flights that can go over this particular continent, which is not a continent, it's surrounding us, obviously. You know, people are saying captains after, yeah, really, captains? Well, the last one that did, forget it. You know, I mean, these people are just so asleep. These people that are uploading all this shit from us and trying to make us look like idiots. You know, they're all paid for this, okay? I mean, it's bottom line. It's, you know, and there's only a few of them, you know, which even makes me more suspicious. You know, there should be hundreds of these things, of these people doing this, you know, but they're not.
I'm just, honestly, Chris, I think it's because I'm too good at this, and everyone else just looks at my videos and goes, what's the point? She's nailing it.
There's just like a solid 4 things.
Either that or people aren't that interested in Flat Earth even as an avenue to dunk on silly people. Either or.
Just like there's only 4 scientists that actually represent everything out there. But you see what I'm getting at? It's all lie. And it's all bullshit. The only thing that's real is Flat Earth.
The only thing that's real is Flat Earth. Wow.
And until people actually do their research and check these things out by looking at videotape footage, by looking at the curvature, which is a none, okay, they won't realize what they actually live on.
Cruelty 1 says 4 scientists, question mark. He's saying that because in his head he can only think of like 4 scientists. I'm guessing in his head it's like Dr. Fauci, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Stephen Hawking, Einstein. I'm just guessing in his head he's thinking I can only think of 3 or 4 science communicators, therefore no other scientists exist. Daddy Sumain says, just finished watching the Pentaveret. It's so damn funny. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. I haven't been the biggest fan of Mike Myers' stuff since, God, what's the last thing he did that I liked? Probably Shrek 2?
So, we'll be talking, whoa, I got some surprises for you too in the camera. Alright, anyway, I'll get into that in another video. I think of something, I think of reviewing my videos. Let me be a part of life.
So that's what Chris is up to. Still crazy. So we have Flat Earth, which might be on page 2. CC infers his wife hates him. Daddy Sume says also you get to see Mike Myers' penis, so that's a thing that happened to me today. How lucky. Flat Earth. Is that it? I think that's it. He needs to trim his bush. Who doesn't? On this fine day, we will all trim our bushes. He said, do your own research. Okay, mark it then. Let's do the KFC one.
So that's why light can't go into a black hole, because even light can't escape the gravitational pull of it. So that's why we know they're there, because we can measure the energy from around them.
And the only way of measuring it is the
energy ring.
The energy ring that's
everything
on the
being
outside.
pulled in and burning up. And
So you measure your black hole by the energy ring on the outside. Some of the world's greatest mysteries include the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Were they real? What really goes on in the Bermuda Triangle? But more importantly, what are the KFC 11 herbs and spices? I have tried everything in my power to get KFC to tell me what the 11 herbs and spices are, but with no avail. So, KFC have changed the game and they've sent me to meet some people with their very own mysteries and try to get them talking. From crop circles to secret societies and many other mysteries, I've been sent to try and find out if these people can find a common ground which leads to the truth.
I'm Andy Moore, I'm from Manchester, and I believe in the multiverse, which is multi-facets of a parallel universe.
Hi, I'm Paul Vickers, I'm from Milton Keynes, and I believe in the infinite universe, which is a never-ending expanse in time and space.
Are these even antithetical positions? Normally on this show they give people opposing positions. Are those two things, like, incompatible?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Will Richards, back once again with KFC for some more KFC mysteries. And these gents have got some theories and opinions about the universe. But before we delve into that, we have some KFC questions. First question goes to you. Gravy or beans?
Beans.
Of course. Yourself?
Beans.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my god, they both picked beans in this episode. Fuck this episode.
Okay. I would have gone gravy myself, but hey, each to their own. A fillet or a zinger burger?
Ooh, zinger burger.
Oh yeah? But yourself?
Got to agree with the man there.
Next up, we have got legs or breast?
Legs.
Yeah.
Breast.
Your breast man, eh?
Yeah.
Right, we have got the delving deep questions now. The icebreakers are out the way, and these ones are getting a bit personal. Do you think the universe could ever be destroyed?
Oh, I wish you hadn't asked me that question, because I'm afraid I think it could. Us multiverses believe in multiple Big Bangs. It's not good, is it, for us?
The theory of the Big Bang is basically inflation, right? But if you don't believe in the inflation, you're kind of forever growing, forever.
I feel like this is going to be the most obnoxious people talking about things that they know nothing about. And I'm on that you know, train too, but like these people are going to sit here and be like, oh, let me explain the universe and what I think about quantum physics and shit, and they're just like random people like us who have nothing, you know, no knowledge about this shit. Elminato says, they're English, I think they're weird about beans. And Overthought says, gravy is an aside, the question isn't valid.
The infinite universe is what I believe in.
Yeah.
I do feel at one point that we're going to have too much mass and it will contract like a balloon. You know when you blow up a balloon and then you breathe in, it starts coming back on itself.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the big crunch, which he is basically describing, they think is not a valid interpretation at this point.
And then that will be another singularity, which is basically a big black hole sucking everything in, and then it will just burst. I feel like people believe in parallel universes because of the string theory and how quarks work. So apparently if you look at quarks, they react one way, but then if you're not looking at them, they react a different way. So then they mean...
What's quark?
That's your room there.
Within atoms, there's shapes. Now, to make that table, you've got to have certain shape things within the atoms.
Yeah.
Hydrate.
And the other shapes make other things, you know, like the air.
Right.
But there's certain shapes that they can't explain. But whatever they're creating exists. And they can only assume that that is outside of the universe.
So what makes you think there isn't multiple universes?
There's no evidence to suggest otherwise. The only evidence, like I said earlier, was the quarks when they behave differently when they're not being watched.
Right.
In my opinion, that's the only evidence you could even say, and even then it's a stretch.
I don't even understand how that would mean that.
The universe is infinite.
But then that does prove that it is infinite because you can't measure it or calculate its size, so therefore by definition it's infinite.
Well, the multiverses even think that the universe itself the inflation isn't even. So it's inflating at certain sides more than it is at the others and bursting off into its own pockets. So
this has the ring of a couple people who, like, read 3 or 4 Wikipedia pages last night and today are trying to debate each other over what they remember from what they read about on Wikipedia. Does that make sense?
So I understand you thinking that it's infinite, but within that infiniteness, that means there's other universes. Why not? You know, the Big Bang, they believe, isn't necessarily a one-off event.
What is a black hole, and where do you think they lead to?
A black hole is a star that's collapsed in on itself, and it's still got all its mass and all.
Rachel G says, I had chips, cheese, and beans for dinner tonight. In my defense, the baked beans were homemade. Also, there was salad as a side for the illusion of healthiness. Beans! Why the beans? Beans go with, like, a barbecue.
All that mass, there's no outward centrifugal force anymore. All that mass is condensed into a small space, but it still has the gravitational pull. Or more? Does it have more gravitational
Way more
than what it did as a star? Yeah. And light can't even.
And that's why things go flying into them.
Yeah, so that's why light can't go into a black hole, because even light can't escape the gravitational pull of it. So that's why we know they're there, because we can measure the energy from around them.
And the only way of measuring it is the
energy ring.
The energy ring that's
everything
on the
being
outside.
pulled in and burning up.
Okay, I can't even make it all the way through this KFC video. They're so bad.
I mentioned the Mandela effect in a couple of my previous videos, but I really didn't go into any details. Now I will. This is a huge mindfuck, so if you are up for a ride, then let's investigate.
This is not my world, this is not my world, this is not my world.
Rachel G says both modern baked beans and fish and chips were American inventions, so like a lot of things, it's your lot's fault. H. Baird says, actual physicist here, you'd learn more listening to Terrence Howard.
This is not my world, this is not my world.
So this huge mindfuck started with Nelson Mandela dying in the 90s or the 80s, as some people remember it, but
I fucking hate that the Mandela effect would be a lot more fun to talk about if it wasn't named after dumb, ignorant assholes misremembering, like, a very famous historical event. Like, it just... people who are like... For those who don't know, the Mandela effect is basically when you misremember something and you're like, I thought it was Berenstain Bears, not Berenstain Bears. And then a bunch of other people also remember incorrectly a thing. So if it was called, like, the Berenstain Bear effect, you know, oh, that's kind of funny. But it's not. It's named after a bunch of idiots who thought Nelson Mandela died in prison instead of doing, like, I don't know if the most famous thing he's famous for. He's famous for a lot of, like, work in, you know, South Africa and, working on, what's the word I'm thinking of? Basically desegregation, but, like, what was the word? Apartheid. Unapartheiding things. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, famously, he ended up becoming president of South Africa, but then a bunch of idiots are like, I thought he died, so we must have switched universes. Or or some stupid shit.
Officially, he died much later. So this is the Wikipedia entry for Nelson Mandela through Wikivand, and this is the image that most people are familiar with. And they say that he was the first president of South Africa, in office from 1994 to 1999. 666 backwards, and also 9/11. 9/11, okay? However you read
Wait, how are you getting 9/11 out of that?
it, you come to 9/11.
Numerology.
Oh, and by the way, 11th president of the African National Congress as well, in office from 1991 to 1997. Again, 9/11. And if it wasn't enough for the coincidences, then here it is, the 19th Secretary General of the Non-Aligned Movement. Again, 19, and in office 1998 to 1999, which is again 666 backwards, and also 9/11, however you combine with the 19th Secretary General. All of these numbers is 19, 9, and 11 are used by the Freemasons and the Illuminati to signify
Freemason Illuminati's on the bingo card.
certain things.
First name punch number says this guy has been taking numerology lessons from the moose guy, I see.
And obviously, according to the official story, he died in 2013. But as I said, many people remember him dying in the 1980s or
Those people are wrong? Those people are very, very wrong.
the 1990s. Through this video from
Stone Corbell says, I guess absolutely everything that happened in 1999 is part of a conspiracy then. Yeah, I kind of assumed.
Planet Nibiru, I tracked down a book called English Alive, and the author writes on page 54 the chaos that erupted in the ranks of the ANC when Nelson Mandela died on the 23rd of July 1991. Now,
that person apparently was incorrect. That person's incorrect. He was alive. He became the president.
this is a little bit confusing because the title says 1990, but I think exactly this is what it is. It's just the title, English Alive 1990. But if you look closer, here it is. This is the publishing date, 1991, October the 1st, which is quite after July 1991. So it is quite possible that this author saw this happening and wrote the book. Now, interestingly, Morgan Freeman looks
Oh, God. Alpaca sent him 50 bits, says, this goober does know that most people in recent history existed from 1900 to 2000, so are they all Illuminati and involved with 9/11? Yes, we all did 9/11.
almost like Nelson
It might be a fictional future history book, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. What was the name of it? One second.
1991, October.
English Alive, 1990. I'm looking at the editions. Be nice if there was a back of the book thing. Sorry, I'm trying to find more info. There just doesn't seem to be very much on this particular book. I'm guessing because it doesn't seem... because it looks like it's writings from high school students in South Africa from, 1990. I'm guessing it was just somehow a mistake or something like that. Don't know without actually being able to look at the book.
The first, which is quite
CripplePunk91, thanks for subscribing.
after July 1991, so it...
Oh, there we go, thank you. Sitting Cow 2 says, for anyone wondering about the essay mentioning Nelson Mandela dying, the essay is set 1 year in the future from the time of writing. His closing speech in our minds, let's go ahead exactly 1 year in time. The title refers to F.W. de Klerk making his closing speech to the court, so it's speculative fiction. Thank you, I'm so glad it's something like that. See, it doesn't take too long to find things.
It is quite possible that this author saw this happening and wrote the book. Now, interestingly, Morgan Freeman looks almost like Nelson Mandela. I'm not saying it's the same.
No, not real. They have similar things. Like I know that Morgan Freeman has played him in at least one movie, so there are some things that are similar about them. Like their hair is a little similar, but like their faces do not look like the same person even a little bit. They do not look like the same guy. Just feels a little racist that he thinks that they look really close when they don't.
Same person, but it could be, if you are talking about the actor-based reality. And interestingly, he's playing Nelson Mandela himself in the movie called Invictus in 2009. Here's the cast. You can see Morgan Freeman plays Nelson Mandela. And of course, clever people will tell you that all this is just false memory. But let's read what it is, actually. A false memory is a psychological phenomenon where a person recalls something that did not happen or that something happened differently from the way it happened. Look at this. A person. It is a personal experience, and any of us had that, you know, like
Oh my god, and the Mandela effect is when many people have false memories. False memory, individual, Mandela effect, pluralization. What? Just because this particular Wikipedia entry uses the singular does not mean it stops applying when it becomes multiple people misremembering the same thing. I honestly wonder, false memory Wikipedia page. False memory Wikipedia. I'm wondering if they have a section under here for the Mandela effect. Oh my god, literally the Mandela effect is under, if you look at the false memory page on Wikipedia, which is literally the page he's looking at, in psychology, a false memory is a phenomenon where someone, which is what he's pointing out, because it's individual, he assumes it can't be that, but then literally if you go down, the Mandela effect is described. You fucking idiot.
that, of course. I remember something, I remembered it incorrectly, somehow differently, but usually you can tell that you had a false memory because someone next to you
can't,
who have been in the same event can recall the event and they say, no, it didn't happen.
Which is what happens with the Mandela effect.
That way. But
Nelson Mandela lived, you idiot. This is what we are telling you.
This is completely different because hundreds of thousands of people remember the same thing at the same time, notwithstanding the gender difference, cultural difference, location, and yet they remember the same thing. Does it sound like false memory to you?
Yes!
Personal false memory? Under
literally yes!
The false memory article, they added a new entry which is commonly held false memories. And they say here,
oh yeah, so literally he's acknowledging that it says Mandela effect. What?
False memories can sometimes be shared by multiple people, really. Even though they just define it in the beginning of the article that it is a personal experience.
Yes! You can have, multiple people can have personal experiences that are similar. Like, what? What is this argument? Aha, I got you. You used a singular. So therefore, I win!
Now they change it just because of the Mandela effect. In 2010, this was dubbed the Mandela effect by self-described paranormal consultant Fiona Broom, in reference to
this restaurant can't be a place where a bunch of people come to eat, because under the definition of eating, it says that it's when an individual imbibes nutrition. An individual. Is the restaurant just filled with one individual eating? No, it's a bunch of people, okay? So restaurants aren't where people eat. That's the argument he's making right now.
To a false memory she reported of the death of South African leader Nelson Mandela in the 1980s, who was at the time still alive, which she claimed was shared by perhaps thousands of other people. Perhaps, it's not perhaps, it's for sure. Other such examples include memories of the Berenstain Bears, name previously being spelled Berenstein, and of a 1990s movie titled Shazam, starring comedian Sinbad as a genie. Right, interestingly, they always have some kind of explanation, and it is always us who are the fools and insane. Really.
You're not insane, you're just a normal person. Normal people have false memories. Like, for instance, the Berenstain Bears thing. I was one of the people that thought it was Berenstain Bears, but then, like, later I found out, oh no, it's Berenstain. Interesting. And I was like, I don't remember it that way, but I'm also an adult who went, weird that I misremembered that. Cool, and moved on. It's not about being stupid in this case, it's just a thing that people do. Now, if you look at that situation and go, I couldn't have misremembered that, it must be I switched dimensions or something, then you're stupid.
According to another explanation, it's just cognitive dissonance. But that doesn't make sense either, because cognitive dissonance is about a strongly held belief. Now, these changes are usually not very important. Most of the time they are trivial changes. No one really has a belief about Mandela, you know, it's not really that important when he died, or...
Holy shit. Let's listen to that one again.
No one really has a belief about Mandela, you know, it's not really that important when he died, or...
Holy fuck. This guy's dumb.
Or whether Berenstain is Berenstain or Berenstein, these subtle differences, but we do notice. And these are the people
Honestly, question, dumb or racist? I don't know.
Who are awake.
Maybe both.
So this cannot really be cognitive dissonance because it's not really about our belief system. But those who tell us that it is cognitive dissonance, they are actually in cognitive dissonance.
It's not cognitive dissonance, you're just misremembering something.
Because it is their belief that time cannot change, there are no different dimensions, there are no conspiracy facts, and the government wants you good. So if anyone have false memory or
Carnivorous stick bug, thanks for following.
Cognitive dissonance, it's them, not us. So now we know what the Mandela effect isn't, so let's talk about what it is. Some people say that it was started in the CERN, but CERN is a very weird institution because, you know, I talked about the atomic hoax before, the nuclear hoax. They can't really split an atom. An atom is...
Oh, this guy doesn't believe nuclear anything exists, basically, like in terms of nuclear energy or nuclear bombs. He doesn't believe that nuclear weapons exist.
Atom. So if they can't split an atom, and this is just a hoax, so why do we believe that in CERN they can speed up the proton? Bullshit. Something else is going on there. I don't know what's going on there. It could be that it was caused by that, but it was not caused by speeding up the proton, I guess. Another explanation I heard is that these parasites have a video editor like Timeline Editor, where they can go back in time and into the future and edit certain things. Now,
what?
Now this sounds like a mind.
He thinks that they have the timeline of the world in like a... I've done a decent bit of video editing in my time. A lot of fuck-ups in the world could be explained by that because, oh boy, timeline view, not fun.
Fuck. And it is. And I don't know whether this is true or not, whether this is the reason why it happens. But since I'm investigating fake history, I can definitely imagine that they modified the past. And since almost everything is fake, why not? They can modify anything they want to. Why not time? Another explanation would be MK Ultra and mind control, which would also make sense, but you know, it's usually the awake people who have these memories. And I guess they are the ones who are actually not that much mind controlled. It's rather the sheep who remember the things as it is presented to them. So they are rather the ones who are MK Ultra and mind controlled. Another school of thought says that it is frequency and vibration and some changes happen in these realms. Again, I don't know whether this is true or not. This is another explanation that could be true. Some people say that there are parallel worlds and different dimensions. And although I don't believe in parallel worlds, but I think there are different dimensions to different realms. And I think Hollywood is trying to tell us so as well. And we know that in the news they tell us lies, and in the movies they tell us truth. Let's have a look at this clip from Oblivion when Jack meets Jack.
Drop your weapon!
H-Paired says, you know, derealization, feeling like reality isn't real, is a common form of disassociation. I'm familiar. Dr. Gamble with 100 bits says, all this talk about Mandela in other worlds, now I can get this off my mind, or now I can't get this out of my mind.
I'm here to be sacrificed. Sacrificed by who? The ones who will restore balance if I don't myself. They're coming for me. Get out of here. Save yourself.
The Berenstain Bears.
In my universe, it's not Berenstain or Berenstain. It's Bloodstain.
Jesus Christ. Check Twitter. Why? What is this? Oh, they're doing a humble bundle of Star Trek things. That's cool. Tube Man says, wait, so the media lies to us, but the media also tells us the truth? Yeah, I guess. Where did it go?
It's okay. Don't move! You have to shut that drone down. Stop moving!
I'm skipping ahead because he's literally just showing like a really long movie clip.
About Mandela. I want to show you a couple of more pictures about Mandela. Look at this main picture that most people are familiar with. Look at his hair. It is blurred, and I think it shouldn't be blurred because
I don't think his hair is blurred. I just think he has really fluffy hair.
You know, he should be in the focus if it was made by a usual camera.
I mean, it could also be that someone placed a softening effect in the background, because it definitely looks like they're going for that, like, depth of field thing. I don't know if it's artificial or if it's just, like, a very particular lens.
All of these lines should
Doesn't understand how cameras work on the bingo card.
be clear, and obviously the background should be blurred. That's how it should be, but his hair is blurred, just like it was pasted here. Here's another picture I found with Michael Obama, aka Michelle Obama, the
transphobia / transvestigation on the bingo card.
And she is pointing at this new book that was written by Mandela himself, but he seems like dumbfounded by what he sees in the book. It looks like he has never touched this book. He never read this book. It's like someone else.
Wow, he's reading a lot out of this picture that is not there.
Wrote it, and he just got it, and he's like, what the fuck? Who wrote this about me? Not only that, but look at this posture and look at what he has on his lap. I mean, he is supposed to be in the White House or somewhere, and he has this blanket over his lap. Like, he just had a blowjob from Michael. You know what I mean? Like,
what?
What the fuck? Michael just gave Mr. President a blowjob, right? I mean, why else do you have to cover his lap? Look at...
I'm so confused about how he thinks blowjobs work, that he thinks it requires one to wear a blanket afterwards. I'm so confused. Yeah, you know how every time after you suck someone's dick, you put a blanket on their lap afterward to hide that you sucked their dick? I don't even know what that means.
His mouth.
explain later. It's a lot to explain.
It's like he's full of his load. I mean, you can't make this shit up.
What?
Lap. Look at his mouth. It's like he's full of his load. I mean, you can't make this shit up. Here's another picture that I found. It's a series of pictures, and apparently Bill Clinton visited Mandela in his prison, right? And this is the view through his cell. Now, obviously, this is an actor. Both of them are. But the main thing I want to point out is
he visited his former prison cell with him. Does he think this is from a time when Nelson Mandela was still in prison?
why would his cell have conveniently an access to all the reporters to take
Oh my god, he's the dumbest fucking person.
pictures like this, you know, like...
You idiot, this is after he already got out of prison, you dumb fuck.
What the fuck? And what I want you to focus on is this blue line, you know, this is clearly photoshopped. This image has been pasted into the cell, it has never been part of it. So they have a cell picture, they cut this out and they paste it in. And they didn't really care to make a good job. Look at the blue line here. It's really funny. Here again you can see the blue line. Also here, these lines not matching the bar. And again, look at this joke. This blue line on the left and on the bottom. Give me a break. Some more photos of the same shit. And here is the one. Conveniently, both of them are looking out of the cell. And both of them have to grab the bar, right? They are such...
It's not convenient.
actors, honestly. And now this is the best view because they are both looking out. You know, creatives put this together because this picture emotionally means that someone is in the prison looking out to freedom, want to get out, and basically sending a message. And that's what they hired Mr. Mandela for, to show this kind of person who is imprisoned and yet wants freedom and wants the good of all mankind and his people. Now, Mandela looks back and Bill is still viewing the sky or the chemtrails, I'm not sure. And now they are engaging in a conversation.
Chemtrails on the bingo card.
But I'm not sure what he's holding. It looks like he's holding a keychain. You know, like, what the fuck? Is he holding the keychain to his prison? Or is it some kind of strap? And of course then we can see both of them alive and well after the prison. Good friends, good actors. All of them. Oh, and this is a picture from Wikipedia. Apparently this is his first wife, and look at this garbage. I mean, what on earth? Can you see the lines here? This is clearly for...
Why does he, and I've talked about this with this guy before, it does look like this is a photo with sort of a soft background and them like imposed in the front. It's probably some kind of like double exposure. Does he not understand that photo editing was a thing? Like, photo editing is a thing? What are you talking about? That doesn't mean the subjects of the photo are fake. Compositing two images doesn't make the images that are making up the composite inherently fake. Occult Comics, thanks for 4 months, says sorry for missing a bunch of the stream. I've been catching up on YouTube VODs. Well, I'm glad you could make it.
Photoshopped. You know, like, this, you can't make this stuff up. It's absolutely photoshopped. See the lines? Pictures don't look like this. So then I was looking for more pictures and I found that Nelson Mandela is actually listed on IMDb, which is the Internet Movie Database.
Hydrate. Correct. A lot of public figures do because they show up in documentaries a lot. So, like, I think, like, all modern US presidents, I think, have an IMDb page, or at least most of them do.
And here it is, Nelson Mandela, an actor, a writer, and a miscellaneous crew, known for these movies, filmography as an actor, writer, miscellaneous crew. So if you click on actor, we'll see that he was acted in these two movies, We Are Strong Together and Malcolm X, and a miscellaneous crew, Raise My Hands, documentary short. All of these politicians are actors, guys. Nothing new under the sun. They are hired to play in movies, in films, in documentary films, and of course live TV show just like news. And in this case he was playing the imprisoned president and then the president of South Africa. So what if he died in 1880s and also in 1990s and
Did he say, what if he died in the 1880s?
then in 2013 because that was his role, just to confuse us? Or perhaps he didn't fulfill his role because he didn't gain enough attention, and only by 2013 he gained enough attention that his death would be so important. So perhaps he just had to repeat his death cycle again and again because he just didn't fulfill his role. I don't know, but it's quite possible. We definitely know he's an actor. It's right there on IMDb. And that's it for me for today. If you like this message and you would like me to reach more people and improve my channel, you can support me by joining my tribe via my support page.
This guy is such a dumbass. It's like he doesn't think about, like, he'll have an initial thought and then it's like he doesn't analyze that thought even a little bit. Like, he has the initial thought of, oh, look, it's Bill Clinton and Nelson Mandela in a prison cell. Isn't it convenient they let reporters in here? And he doesn't have that secondary thought that I think most people would have, even if that was your initial thought, which is a weird thought to have in the first place, based on multiple false premises. Wouldn't you have that second self-aware, self-analyzing thought to go, wait a minute, this is probably after he was out of prison, right? But I guess I'm assuming he knows who Nelson Mandela is at all, which is maybe too much to expect of him. I don't know. It's very weird. Maybe I just overthink the things I don't know. Maybe I just overthink things sometimes, but I can't imagine coming to that conclusion. Moira Soma says, fun fact, my mother is on IMDb. She was the accountant for a movie project. There are a lot of people there who aren't actors. Yep. So is this, you get all the digital versions of these for $25? Interesting. Cute. Alright, what else we got? Have I tried to contact that guy to talk on stream? I've not. If this will play. It would play earlier.
Yeah, with another video. Now, today I'm going to break down this so-called man with the golden voice. And
I don't know if you guys remember the man with the golden voice. He was a guy who was homeless, and there was a viral video of him with, like, he had a very particular voice that was very nice and sounded, like, really good for voiceover work and stuff like that. It went viral. He ended up getting some jobs and stuff. I don't know what happened after that.
And I know you already heard about this story. If you got your ears out there, this story been going around for years. This so-called homeless man with the golden voice that just blow up. Now I'm telling you right now, this was a 100% hoax, a psyop for the people. No doubt about it. Let's watch
psyop on the bingo card
and break it down. Let's go.
You know, on January 4th, 2011, I was, again, homeless and penniless and hopeless in some people's eyes. And when I got the call that they were looking for a homeless guy with a golden voice.
Okay, so this person right here was homeless, okay? Homeless and penniless, so-called. And he got a video where somebody was passing by, seeing this
misattribution of coincidence for Mandela effect. I don't think so, because it's not really a coincidence. They're just misattributing their failure, but I don't think they're
sign and record him, and he end up going viral on YouTube, okay? And that make this person go on every show you can think of on TV. No, it's 100% fake. You better believe that, okay? 100% fake. If this guy is homeless, how did he
It wasn't fake. It's interesting, but it wasn't fake.
get a call? He don't have no damn cell phone. He just tell you that he get a call.
Wait, does he think homeless people don't have cell phones? Even if you're homeless, you can get like a relatively cheap, I say relatively, what are they called? Just like track phones that you buy minutes for? That's a pretty common thing. I don't know if you know this, but it's cheaper to buy a phone than a place to live.
Have to wake up and understand that this whole shit is fake. Let's watch it.
You know, on January 4th, 2011, I was, again, homeless and penniless and hopeless in some people's eyes. And when I got the call that they were looking for a homeless guy with a golden voice, I had no idea, really, who they were talking about until someone called me and told me, it's you that they're...
Somebody called him. He say he heard about it. This is a homeless man in the streets. And he say he heard about it. He heard about his name buzzing. They're looking, not really his name, but somebody with a golden voice, a homeless guy. And he got the call. What did you get the call on? You're a homeless guy with a cell phone.
It's not even like homeless people having... I guess I don't know what year this was. Hold on. Golden voice. Ted Williams. When did that happen? 2011. Oh yeah, 2011. Homeless people had cell phones in 2011.
That's what you're trying to tell us right
looking
here.
for. Your video went viral. Again, I don't know what to make of that because
And tell me who called you. Tell the people the whole story. Who called you and tell you the video went viral?
You wouldn't know the person anyway, so it wouldn't matter if they said, you know, some random name. What if he's like, oh, Don Johnson told me about it. You don't know who Don Johnson is, so what would the point be? You'd just say that's a fake person. H. Baird says, I remember this. His name is Ted Williams. When I first read about it, I thought they'd thawed out the cryogenically frozen baseball player.
You were just a homeless man. Nobody's dumb around here. You're 100% tricking the masses.
familiar with viral videos, and I didn't post that video, and I knew nothing, very little, should I say, of the internet and all. And next thing you know, I'm on the Today Show with Matt Lauer.
Okay,
And
that's one. He went on the Today Show for that alone. Video went viral, and all of a sudden, this guy was making on Today Show and Matt Lauer right
and all
here.
of those great people, and all of a sudden thereafter,
There you
I'm
go
on one
with
of the
Dr. Phil right there, another fake doctor they have on TV to persuade the masses to do whatever they want them to do right there. Another one.
leading doctor shows on television. I mean, the cameras, the
There
lights.
you go. Wow. Are you kidding me? He make it on them night talk shows, everything. He make it on every show you can think of.
Had all of the
All because he
networks
hold up a
around the
homeless
world.
sign and people videotape him and say he went viral. Wow. Wake your ass up. This is 100%
I went
garbage
from
right
homeless
here.
to Hollywood.
There you go there, right there.
I went from drinking rot gut to Grey Goose in a matter of minutes. Overwhelming would be an understatement. Let's just say I was
I'm
paralyzed.
telling you right now, people, just in case you don't know, you heard it from the Mag Bitter Truth. This was all planned, 100% planned. This is a so-called radio jockey, this jockey on the radio for years, then so-called got fired or whatever and end up on the street for 20 years until somebody record him holding a sign, say he homeless, and he blow back up. It's bullshit. 100% fairy tale for the masses.
I don't understand out of all the things why this is what he picked to say is fake.
And that's how they do it.
Fear. I was paralyzed. I knew right then and there.
I'm going to tell you.
Okay, enough of that.
In December of 2020, I visited the Gilded Age mansions of Newport, Rhode Island. At the time, my mind was already dead set that the construction and craftsmanship of the architecture was impossible for the time period given, a la Tartaria.
It's always mud flood. Hate the mud flood.
Fast forward to spring 2022, I revisited the mansions. The marble house belonging to Alva Vanderbilt gets its name from the trademark look. Book matching, a technique still used today, explains how the marble facading was accomplished throughout much of the house. But not everything is as it appears. When I was on the second floor exiting Alva's bathroom, the secrets of the house revealed themselves. The look is cheated.
So for those who don't know, this is someone who's into the Tartarian mud flood conspiracy theory, which is basically a belief that there was a global empire before written history, or not even before written history. It was during some period of history, I don't remember exactly when, that... No, I think some of them do believe it was actually before written history. Either way, that they believe that these Tartarians had a global empire that truly spanned the entire world. They built all the fancy buildings we take for granted, and we found them, pretended we built them, and then erased the Tartarian Empire from history. It's really stupid. H. Baird says, but can this mansion be used to host pay-per-view boxing matches? I don't think so.
The columns...
I wonder how the one is doing. You think they finished it yet? I know it got auctioned off because the guy was so behind on his bills.
They're marble, the trim is marble, but many of the walls are actually painted to resemble the look of marble.
Okay, so they did repairs over time and cheaped out on it. It's not that shocking.
The rest of the decorative decor throughout the mansion is plaster molding. The same type of plaster molding you can purchase today to spruce up your own home. The second mansion we visited was under restoration. The interior drywall was crumbling apart, and in the absence of perfection, the construction revealed itself. Behind this thin layer of stucco concrete, a hollow space with rotting wood. Once again, something built to look grand is a facade disguising possible architecture for the time period.
Is this guy's conspiracy point in this video literally just that under the decorative nature of certain architecture? Like, this doesn't look very nice underneath. Yeah, this is the part that's not supposed to be visible once it's completed. What?
Back at the marble house, we toured the servants' corridors and another...
Like, imagine if I ripped down the drywall in this room, or the wood paneling. I think this is actually wood paneling. Let's say I took down the wood paneling, right? And I was like, it's so ugly behind this wood paneling. Yeah, that's the inside of the wall. You're not supposed to see that part. It's functional.
Another revelation came to mind. We typically hear with the Tartaria community, which I myself too actively believed, that these structures belong to a taller race of people. The tall doors and massive headspace fuels these speculations. However, when descending the servants' corridor staircase, a shorter person like myself could easily reach up and touch the ceiling. It's no secret these mansions needed an entire staff to properly function, but if we're going with the Tartarian theories of the owners being giants, then we need to speculate regular-sized people acted as servants. Applying critical thinking to this claim, why would giants construct their home to accommodate regular-sized servants, let alone spaces they would have trouble accessing due to their height? This brings us to the YouTube channel Ewar, where his boots-on-the-ground expedition led to a pivot in thought process, which in turn has generated massive waves amongst the Tartaria community.
AE... Hold on, I gotta find that guy in... I gotta save him, clearly. Cool. Conspiracy...
This is bullshit!
In this video, I'll be referencing from Autodidactic and Tartaria Australia's discussion on their thoughts and feelings about Ewar's change of mind and new direction. In all seriousness, nothing I will present here
I'm
is
so glad that there's a Tartaria believer community drama that we're going to get into. That's beautiful.
to be mean-spirited towards the community. But it wouldn't be a Wood Nichols production without some sarcasm, so don't take any jokes personal. For context, I had never heard of Ewar prior to his pivot, as I had already jumped off the Tartaria bandwagon by the time his presentations came along. To no one's surprise, I became an immediate fan of Ewar. With that said, let's begin. When we turn to the description for James W. Lee's book, The One World Tartarians, the Greatest Civilization Ever Erased from History, this book could very well be the greatest revisionist history book ever written in modern times to date about the greatest lie about our common history. The Tartaria civilization encompassed most of the world we know today, from Russia to China to Africa to India to Australia and New Zealand and North and South Americas.
I acknowledge also that the word Tartaria, it has become the name of a movement now, a name of a debunking history movement. And like, that's to be acknowledged. And I think everyone who works within the Tartarian landscape acknowledges that. I don't think that's like a big shock to anyone.
Going back to the book's description, we're told the people of Tartary were destroyed by directed energy weapons, and that all the architecture and technology we know.
We already have believe sci-fi technology exists on the bingo card, but if we didn't, laser weapons.
Today was developed by the Tartars. I can assure you no one looking into this subject for the first time will take into consideration the term Tartaria should be used loosely when reading this book description. It's contradictions like this, which is why people like myself and probably Ewar are abandoning the terminology.
I don't like, it felt like it was dishonoring to the community and dishonoring to, he named and blamed almost blamed and shamed, which I thought sucked. And it was a really weird vibration for me. Yeah.
Ewar references by name the members of the Tartaria community for whom he slightly built his work on top of, in relationship to the theory of architecture and energy generation. He then challenges the community as a whole to start providing tangible evidence in regards to architecture and its use of energy. Otherwise, this specific category can only be chalked up to pareidolia. Here, Ewar's challenge to the community is interpreted as dishonoring, blaming, shaming, and taking Tartaria Australia out of her safe space. Another common topic for Tartaria research is the craftsmanship towards the marble statues of the old world and how they can't be.
I have this pimple. You ever get a pimple that's like right on the crease of your nose and like your upper lip? It's like right there.
Reproduced today. And I agree with this one. The detail of the veil alone cannot be matched by any artist today, except the image you're looking at was carved from a single slab of marble in 2019. There's even a time-lapse video of the carving on YouTube. He even offered one of his pieces to the Vatican and they rejected it due to the eyes of the Pope being too dark and hollow. Which Yago
it's so the eyes follow you!
refused to change at their request. And I don't blame him because these are soulless individuals. Now yes, Yago does use modern day technology to his advantage, but you have to remember, sculptors back in the day lived and breathed their trade profession. To quote C. Vasilis, artists back then weren't wasting their time playing video games and jerking off to online porn. Going back to this statue, which many flat earthers have presented under the Tartaria terminology, we have a cherub standing on a globe. You can even see the continents carved into it, so there is no confusion what this represents. Another process that is frequently ignored is that these sculptures undergo restoration. That's why they still look so good today. Same with cathedrals. They get restored, otherwise they would look like shit.
It's interesting that this guy is like an ex-Tartaria person. Or at the very least, doesn't buy into as much of it now?
This implies we still have artists today that can do this stuff, except for that one time this random lady tried to restore this Jesus painting.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Did that painting ever get fixed?
Another common trait with the Tartaria community is the assumption that everything in the history of mankind was supposed to have already been uploaded to the internet.
Like, this guy or this team have scoured the internet for ages to prove or to explore this idea of an alternative history. Do you not think they would have come across these photos before?
As
Two Man with 100 bits says, I don't want to be offensive when I say this, but what's up with the white people and thinking that normal humans from ancient cultures couldn't make stuff without the help of aliens or advanced superhumans? I've actually watched some videos on this, and that it used to be a very white supremacist, imperialistic belief that basically non-European cultures, let's say, were incapable of such things. It's a lot of it's based in racism. I'm not saying every single conspiracy theorist who is buying into these things are inherently maliciously racist. Unfortunately, it's one of those things where they're believing things that are racist, whether they know it or not, if that makes sense. It's super fucked. Rageology says, unfortunately, in my reading up on medieval slavery in Europe, I can say that whilst they weren't playing video games and jerking off to porn, they were busy sexually assaulting their slaves. Oof. Cruelty1, thanks for 6 months. Almost got another hype train kicked off.
Tartaria Australia illustrates with her hasty generalization that Ewan has scoured the internet for ages, and suggests he should have already found the construction photos for Liverpool Cathedral. Ewar states his boots-on-the-ground activity is what led him to Liverpool Cathedral, where he found the construction photos from a book sold in the gift shop. Going back to this assumption, everything is supposed to have already been uploaded to the internet, when in reality, there's many reasons why photos might not be online. One such example being copyright issues. If a book's publisher owns the publishing rights of construction photos, which would most likely be the case since they are making money off the material, there's no reason to upload the images to the internet for free. Now that's just one example of many possibilities we're looking at besides a massive cover-up.
We did not realize that this building was constructed, and here's all the evidence. Like, oh, silly us, we've only just found them. Fuck off. Like, there's no way. Like, you would have seen them straight away.
If they didn't find it, how come none of us found it? In 4+ years of research?
I would ask the same question of the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco. If you'll recall, this permanent structure, which still stands today, was described as tangible proof that the so-called temporary buildings of the Panama Pacific International Exposition were permanent, just like it. Yet, a book published in the 1960s, along with every single website that describes the history of the Palace of Fine Arts, outlines the structure was built to be permanent in 1966. Even if we entertain the notion this 1966 construction is a cover-up to throw us off, how did the community's leading researchers not find this readily available information and factor it into their research?
It would have been taken him literally 1 minute to find that information if it had been there, if it's real.
Ewar asks his audience if one's own investigative pursuit has become so stagnant, lazy, and selective that you found yourself deliberately ignoring instances of evidence which go against your own claims. If this statement does not answer why the Tartaria community never addressed the 1960s construction of the Palace of Fine Arts, then that leaves one other option, which is no one actually researched the structure's history.
Check out this. I know nothing about its history. This old city jail here in Melbourne. I haven't done the research on the history.
So for the Tartaria community to be giving Ewar a hard time about accessing information from a book he would have only uncovered had he been doing boots-on-the-ground research seems a bit paradoxical, no?
And he also went from like, oh wow, like this, here's the book of the construction of the cathedral, therefore it's all bullshit. Like, and that is such an uneducated presentation and narrative. Like,
if I'm understanding Tartaria Australia correctly, using books is an uneducated approach to researching material. A quick recap in case you just missed it, there was a book published in 1966 that debunked the Tartarian theory on the Palace of Fine Arts decades before the conspiracy was invented. But I do agree with Tartaria Australia, there are certain books out there you might want to avoid if you don't want to present yourself as uneducated.
But yet didn't mention the fact that when these buildings had actually, that there's so many photos of their excavation when they were making renovations of these buildings being really, really underground.
While I do believe there are missing civilizations buried under our feet, the topic of
God, it's weird because he's effectively debunking the Tartarian shit while also kind of believing it. It's very strange. What a weird guy.
Structural foundations, like the example of the Capitol building, no longer does anything.
Oh no, what a big raid. Liv, thank you for the raid. Hi, raiders. I'm Hannah. I'm a leftist trans streamer. Today we're doing Tinfoil Wednesday, where we look at weird conspiracy theorists and make fun of them. We're playing Tinfoil Tuesday Bingo. If you want a bingo card, you can get one in the chat. Let me do the command for the bingo. And yeah, go check out Liv here on Twitch. There's a link Halloween Town just posted. I hope you had a great stream. Right now we're looking at someone who's debunking, but also kind of believes in Tartarian conspiracy theories. Tartarian conspiracy theories are effectively a conspiracy that an ancient, forgotten civilization actually built all of our buildings, including things like the White House, the Capitol building, places like that, and we just erased them from history for reasons.
Thing for me. As static in the attic covered in depth, the bigger the building, the bigger the foundation. I personally do not tie neoclassical style Capitol buildings and courthouses within the same category as these missing civilizations I'm referring to. Rather, this Masonic looking architecture, where corrupt politicians and judges decide our fates, have been strategically placed around the realm as a reminder that the power is being consolidated into one world order.
Oh god, because again, he's debunking the Tartaria stuff, but then he gets into, like, New World Order cabal shit.
Kind of like the Tartarians, how neat.
But he hasn't addressed the scale of these things. Like, the scale of all these buildings, the gigantic scale of everything. You know, why in 1970, why would they build a cathedral to that scale?
When it comes to the scale of modern-day engineering, I have posed a similar question to the Tartaria community. This 130-story hotel in Saudi Arabia opened up in 2012. Liverpool Cathedral is 116 feet high. This hotel is 1,119 feet high. What allows construction like this today possible, but cathedrals a tenth its size impossible 100 plus years ago?
A lot of the Tartarian conspiracy theory seems to hinge upon their inability to understand that different architectural styles exist in different eras for different aesthetic and practical purposes. Like, Baroque architecture didn't just stop working one day, it just grew out of favor in favor of more contemporary art styles for the time and construction methods. So they made up a civilization. They made up an empire. There are old maps that talk about, like, Tartaria, which I think some of my chat has vaguely explained this to me before, but I'm not exactly sure, was a real group of people. But they extrapolate from that and believe that Tartaria was this global empire that existed, like, prior to earliest human history records, that it's like this hidden, almost Atlantean civilization. H. Baird says, if it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. I have also seen Beauty and the Beast. But points for plagiarizing from Disney. So, good for you.
Where is the missing link? Because they move stone? Because there's craftsmanship applied to the carvings? It all boils down to the community.
By the way, chat, I'm only 50 followers away from 10,000 followers. So fuck yes.
Refusing to believe ingenuity could have been accomplished by our recent ancestors without the technology we have today. But why didn't these speculations on impossible architecture start before Wikipedia? Don't get me wrong, I love this style of old world architecture. But as I've stated before, I believe the removal of beauty from art is more likely the real cover-up taking place, as stated in the current communist goals.
Everything I don't like is communism on the bingo card. I get it. What? I love you too. I get it. These people like medieval architecture. They like Baroque architecture. They like classical and neoclassical architecture. And because they find it aesthetically pleasing, they don't seem to understand, oh boy, why are modern business buildings built for corporations? Why don't they look the same? Well, aesthetic choices change over time. Our methods of building buildings change over time, and a minimalist, sleek aesthetic not only is more practical when we're talking about building a skyscraper or some other large building for a purpose. Like, why would a multi-billion-dollar corporation put money into making an office building look like some sort of church from the 1600s? Doesn't really suit what they're going for, does it? No, they want what looks to be like a sleek, modern skyscraper that can bring in tenants or whatever to force their employees to come back from working at home. I'm getting off topic. The point I'm trying to make is there is a reason that medieval churches looked like that, and there's a reason that modern office buildings look the way they do. They're different things. It's not a conspiracy.
Line number 23. Our plan is to promote ugliness, repulsive, meaningless art.
You know, I have to tell you, honestly, when I listened to it for the first time, do you know what flooded through my mind? Was communism.
For anyone who follows Static in the Attic knows he has accused the Tartaria community of helping to push a communist agenda. So it appears we found ourselves in a Mexican standoff.
I will say, as many problems as I face on a daily basis, I'm glad I haven't entrapped myself in some sort of constructive nightmare where I'm looking out for communists constantly. Because running your own, like, Red Scare in your own mind just sounds exhausting. Stone Corbell says, I bet these people hate brutalist architecture. Probably.
Iwar's concerns are of helping to spread a globalist revisionism, which doesn't sound like a far-fetched apprehension. Then there's the speculations on Iwar's voice. Real Cosmology Bear, who also responded to Iwar's pivot, believes Iwar is not being genuine due to his stage voice, which he claims is meant to entrance and therefore is part of the lie. Here's why I disagree with that claim, but first I need to take a moment to break down my creative process. It all starts with a notepad, pen, and a cup of tea. The writing process progresses to the computer, where I flesh out a script based on the notes I generated, which I'll read directly from during the recording. Recording my dialogue is my least favorite part of making a video. Yes, right now, as I speak, I'm not really enjoying myself. And if I let the full audio from my recordings leak, you'd all be like, whoa, this guy has mental issues. Then again, many people think I already do. I still to this day get frustrated with myself when I stumble on my words and have to repeat lines, as I just want to get through the recording process as quick as possible. When I first started making videos, I literally slapped myself in the face on multiple occasions to get the lines right. I'm not
very stable.
Making that up. That's some real shit.
What was that? You're sitting there like a fucking baboon.
You don't get these lines right, I'm gonna blow your fucking brains out tonight.
The process is different for everybody, and recording dialogue is not my strong suit. When live streaming or talking off the cusp, it's much easier to come off genuine as conversations flow naturally. Someone like Iwar, who cites published writers in his work, is clearly a methodical writer himself, whether working with a team or not. This stage voice, as Cosmology Bear refers to, is a result of him reading from a script and projecting his own unique way. Now that's just me applying my own experience into this idea Iwar is some magician-trained warlock casting spells with his voice to deceive everybody. And yes, that was a bit of an over-exaggeration towards Real Cosmology Bear's statements, but I believe it is a very organic process for a researcher to conclude many Tartaria subjects don't add up, so I personally can't give merit into further speculations. As Campbell and Tartaria Australia's take on his low energy, well, as someone who decided to publicly pivot on Tartaria, let me tell you, it's not a fun process. And my videos weren't near as popular as Iwar. If Iwar is sharing his personal truths with us, which I have no reason to speculate otherwise, then he's not lying when he states his consciousness is eating at him. It's no great secret that artists are sensitive people, and based on the level of response from the community, Iwar's artistic touch to his presentations captivated many viewers. As Tartaria Australia mentioned, she feels like she's lost her favorite show, even though Iwar states not all of his old research was a dead end, and he'll be referring back to it in upcoming episodes. If there's one thing I've learned, there's a portion of the community that can't accept one changing their own opinion. Iwar states he's sticking to boots on the ground research because it provides more clarity, just as I experienced for myself returning to the Newport mansions and discovering half the walls are painted to look like marble, rather than attempting to consolidate complex world issues into one simplistic solution, under the guise of all history is a lie. As I've stated before, I still believe in mystery history. While I no longer believe giants built the world's fairs, I don't disregard stories of giant skulls being discovered across the world.
God damn it. Sure, fine. Okay, you can believe in giants. That's stupid. Whatever. Speaking of which... Paul Cree, thanks for following. Far Left Shark, thanks for following. Paku Monster, thanks for following. Those are the most recent ones. Appreciate it. Cat Meme. Hello, I'm Wilfred Brimley.
In the late
If you're over
summer
the
of
age 65 and
1908,
have
Collinsville,
diabetes,
Illinois,
testing supplies may be provided
near the
for free.
Cahokia Mounds, construction workers accidentally unearthed a stone tomb that contained several giant bodies,
Oh, God.
each measuring over 7 feet tall. Following this discovery, the bodies quickly disappeared, only to add more mystery to the idea that a large species of humans once inhabited the Americas.
Wow, the only evidence you found giants disappeared? That's incredibly convenient. Also, I don't know if they know this, people can be born over 7 feet tall. That's a thing that happens in real life.
What is left of this mysterious mound complex still baffles archaeologists today. Cahokia was considered the largest city north of Mexico, with a population between 25,000
Nagrum,
and 50,000
1995,
in
following.
1000 AD. This Native American civilization had an advanced system of waterways, agriculture, and textiles, and also many legends of what they referred to as the mound builders. Who were these mound builders? Could they be linked to the large bodies accidentally found in the ancient tomb? Is it possible that what they had stumbled upon was the remains of a great culture that not only roamed the Americas, but also the world?
Are we doing Invader Zim rules? If you're taller, your civilization automatically is better? How does that work? They're tall, therefore they were a great civilization. I'm not following, but I'm on board. Let's go.
Researcher Brad Olson suggests that these mounds themselves hold the key to these forgotten ancient beings.
It is true that giants have been found in the mounds in the Midwest. There are several different cultures in the Midwest. It started basically in the state of Ohio. It started with the Adena culture, which then became the Hopewell, and then it became the larger Mississippian culture that encompasses the entire Mississippi Valley. There are over 2,000 pyramidal mounds in North America, including Mexico.
When you look into North Americas, you discover these mounds that the Indians or the Native Americans built to honor the dead giants that probably ruled over them in some way. In the North Americas, these mounds are built up from the earth itself in the shape of snakes and other various creatures, and some are just mounds. But the thing that's really interesting is when you look around the world, you also find they have something called dolmens. Dolmens are just these massive stones put together to let you know as a marker that there's a giant buried here. There's somebody of royalty buried here. And so we've done the same thing here in the North Americas, where they build this huge mound, which is very hard to do. So the thing that really binds them together is the fact that they're both these massive monuments to people that may have been very, very spiritual to them in the ancient past.
In my research, there's over 1,500 newspaper articles that all span from the early 1900s, late 1800s of non-stop discoveries of giant bones.
How much of this was during the Bone Wars? Because the Bone Wars were a whole thing. Morok with 50 bits says, taller equals better. That's the system of government, the Urkin Empire from Invader Zim. Whoever is the tallest person gets to be the leader. I made that joke.
In mounds, some of them not in mounds. Some of them are giant bones that have Native American lineage, which is interesting because when you
Breachiology says there are over 2,000 pyramidal mounds in North America, including Mexico. Fun fact, Mexico is not in North America. It is in Central America.
look at some of the writings of the earliest explorers to North America, and most of their journals, they describe the chiefs of each tribe as being a giant. some of them 12 to 15 feet tall. And so here yet again, you're seeing this upper status being given to the people that have that genetic lineage. And when you look at that happening in North America.
Did I watch Morbius with Jake on Jake's birthday? I did.
And then you look at
Mexico is North America? Well, Raygeology, you made me look stupid. So here we are together in the stupid pile. Thanks.
So the very first ship that landed on Easter Island, and what was the first thing they said? There was a race of giants there, and the race of giants were the priestly class of the Rapa Nui
a great
people.
movie or the greatest movie? Honestly, Morbius was fine to watch with friends while high and dunk on it, but it's super unmemorable. I wouldn't recommend Morbius, even as like a ha ha ha, it's so funny. It's not that funny. It's just real bad.
And that they were overseeing the
Mr. Sir Knight Kingyo says it's like they're saying native people are too stupid to build stuff. This is disgusting. As a native person, I can state we do not have a term for giant in Athabascan language. Rather, what is translated as giant by biased people actually translates to frightening spirits.
construction.
Did I morb? I did morb.
Of those stone heads.
Yeah, the conspiracy theories have a big thing with believing different cultures are incapable of doing anything, basically.
That story right there, you can take that and place it in 100 different areas all around the world, and it's the exact same story. That's what's amazing about it.
Another strange piece of evidence that might add credence to this mythology is that there are over 100 large human-looking mysterious footprints preserved in stone for thousands of years all over the world. Is this possible physical proof of these legends?
For example, you have the Bible. Just start at the Bible.
Can we not? Can we not? He's going to bring up the, oh God, what are they called? The giants. They're like half angels. I should know this. Nephilim.
In the beginning, the first book of Moses, 2 times some giants are mentioned. Everyone remembers the fight between David and Goliath. Goliath was a giant. This is a Bible story. The book of Eskimo, which is the mythology of the Eskimo, simply phrases at that time the giants were living on earth. The same thing in Egypt. They are clearly talking in the so-called pyramid text that some of the gods were giants compared to humans. Giants are in mythology actual living, practically.
The mythological concept of large people, giants, is not uncommon. That being the case doesn't mean that it makes them real. Mythology of like giant lizards, like dragons, that's also pretty common and pervasive throughout different human cultures. That doesn't mean that dragons are real.
In every ancient mythology. So why not in the United States?
If this is true, how did all this evidence simply disappear?
Across the last 200 years,
Outlet, thanks for following.
Many hundreds of oversized skeletons have been found in Native American mounds and also Native American cemeteries. Many of these skeletons were around 7 to 7.5 feet tall, and they were discovered by archaeologists associated.
Dragons aren't real. Hey, I'll throw you a bone. Wyvern can be real, but dragons, that's a step too far. H. Baird says, this is Eric von Daniken. He's the guy who created the whole ancient astronauts movement. He's also did Time for Embezzlement. Just saying, wow, what a piece of shit.
Associated with the Smithsonian Institution, and they were fully recorded, they were taken away, and there are many publications that exist today that you can read all about these discoveries. So what are these giants and what happened to them? Well, firstly, we can say that all of these bones have now gone. Unfortunately, even though many of them were in the Smithsonian, they were repatriated the beginning of the 1990s as part of the NAGPRA law, the repatriation of Native American indigenous peoples' remains. So unfortunately, they've all gone from the museum.
Okay, that's not unfortunate. That's good. I mean, it's bad that they were taken in the first place, but it's don't say unfortunately when we're talking about returning remains of people that were stolen. Let's not. Morhawk with 100 bits says, fun fact, the oldest version of the Book of Samuel found says Goliath was about 6 feet tall, indicating that the modern translation of 8 to 10 feet tall may have been a result of an exaggeration over time or a scribe error. Could also be that he was always meant to be quite tall, but 6 feet nowadays or later in history doesn't sound as tall as it did back in the day, because I'm pretty sure we know that people have gotten on average taller over time as nutrition and availability of food and stuff has increased.
Museums and institutions, so we can't look at them and study them today. But what we can do is look at these reports and glean information about what was going on.
Is it possible that traces of their lineage can still be found today, but hidden within the very fabric of humanity?
Radiology says Mexican archaeology is a part of Mesoamerican studies. Archaeological culture regions are somewhat arbitrary, but North America and Mesoamerican archaeology are different subjects. It's one of the reasons why links between the two regions were missed, because specialists in each weren't sharing information between each other and not listening to the cultural descendants. My archaeology dissertation was on the Mesoamerican city of Tenochtitlan, so this is literally my specialty. Sidosaurus says, here's something cute to quell the rage that's probably building due to the stupid. I do like kitties.
Humanity.
When we ask ourselves a question about direct
that is a distinctive look.
Genetic evidence linking us to giants, the giants of the past. To the best of my knowledge, that DNA evidence does not exist physically at this time. However, when we begin looking at the story of humankind, what we see is the stories of giants are pervasive, that they have been spoken about in ancient history, and that we have found evidence of them in modern times. So the question is, are we related to these giants in some way?
Why do they think tall people are a different species? Nordandia Owl says, rivals the ancient aliens guy in hairstyle. Must be a thing for tinfoilers. I guess so.
We look at the narrative of our most ancient and cherished spiritual traditions. There's a common theme that runs through all of them, and it's a fascinating theme for me, because it says that humankind went through multiple iterations of an intentional process
Feverish
to
soup?
lead us
Thanks,
to the
Colin.
point where we are today. In other words, there were multiple attempts to find just the right genetic formula for the human body.
Oh my god, is he literally stating because there were multiple different kinds of hominids throughout history, that means that we were developed over, like, artificially? No, natural selection. What?
That we see today. And in fact, when we look at the Judeo-Christian traditions, what they are telling us is that there was a search for the right genetic formula to hold the power of the human spirit in physical form in this world. And as we went
that doesn't mean anything
through the multiple iterations, the trial and error, there were forms of life that were created that simply were not sustainable throughout the eons of history. And among those forms of life, we certainly see reference to giants. We see references to the Elohim and the Nephilim in the oldest records of the Old Testament.
In May of 2019, host of Open Minds, Regina Meredith, led a team of researchers with the help of Gaia to see if they could investigate a series of giant bones belonging to a man named Luigi Muscas on the island of Sardinia. In his book titled The Giants of Sardinia, he boasts pictures of very large human bones and DNA results done by the University of Padova in Italy. The remains tested showed an O blood type, Rh negative. This is interesting because Sardinia is one of the few places in the world with the highest concentration of the Rh negative O blood type today. Luigi believes this genetic lineage was the result of their ancestors of giant stature. If this is true, is it possible we can find more evidence of this DNA lineage throughout the ancient text? What will this reveal about the true history of humanity in relation to an ancient race of giants and possibly their interactions with Homo sapiens sapiens?
When you look at a lot of the ancient texts, and I keep going back to them because they really do lay out the plan for us to understand the distant past, you discovered that a race of advanced beings that came from space arrived in Mesopotamia, now modern-day Iraq, and also in the area of Africa, but then much later moved and migrated across the planet into North America. They were told to do this by one of their leaders. And in doing this, they also began to mate with other hominids and were giving birth to this very, very large...
Time for snoo.
...giant people.
The book of Genesis talks about the time when the Elohim, the sons of God, came upon the daughters of men, and that they gave birth to giants. And sometimes it was said that the women, the babies, were so large that they would be removed from the belly in what we would call today caesarean section, that they couldn't be given birth to under any normal circumstance, that they had to be removed artificially.
Could these accounts of giants in religious texts add credence to the idea that we might share DNA?
I like the drawing with the little guy on his back. That way! Yeah, I know.
With this lost species? Experts suggest that if this is true, there are accounts of many types of giants.
I hate Gaia. Holy shit. Ugh. Alright, is there anything else before we do a raid? We're going for 3 hours. I am so tired. Let's see who we're gonna raid. Giant porn. You know, I don't feel like getting banned today, surprisingly. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. Sorry I was a little less energetic today. I'm very tired, you know. I didn't sleep very well last night, and we were up late hanging out at Jake's birthday, so, yeah, no. But I'll have some more energy next time we speak. So tomorrow is D&D. So get ready to do that over on Actual Jake's channel, who we're about to raid. Other than that, I'll see you guys Friday for another stream. Cool? Cool. Have a great night. If you liked what you saw, follow. If you didn't like what you see, follow me anyway. Maybe I'll grow on you. Maybe I'm an acquired taste. If you liked me immediately, that's because I'm effervescent with charisma. If you didn't like me immediately and still don't like me, I'm an acquired taste and you need to come back as many times as it takes for you to learn that I'm great. Alright, have a good night, everyone. I'll see you guys later. Ah!